You're scavenging in an abandoned storage facility, your stomach gnawing with hunger when you hear movement that isn't the shambling of zombies. It's calculated, human, and possibly hostile. This is exactly where Merlyn and Ed find themselves in the opening of No Dawn to Come, and you're about to experience every heart-pounding moment of their journey through a snow-covered wasteland where the cold isn't the only thing that can kill you. I'm going to take you through the full audiobook, the complete story, Meredith Fry, in the frozen wasteland of No Dawn to Come. So get ready, comfortable, or grab a drink, for you're about to start for an experience that will make you question whether the real monsters have beating hearts or rotting flesh. But before we dive in, consider hitting that like button and subscribing if you haven't already. Let us know where you're watching from and what time it is. We'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, let's get started. No Dawn to Come. Audiobook and narration provided by Frostfall Audio. Chapter 1, Shadows in the Snow. The storage facility crouches in the snow like something that forgot how to stand. Metal walls lean inward. Rust climbs the corners where paint peeled away years before the world ended, before the hungry ones came, before the silence. Merlyn moves through the dark with her rifle held low. Her breath makes white clouds in the frozen air. Each cloud hangs for a moment, then dies. Ed follows 3 steps behind. His boots crunch too loud, always too loud. The facility held ski equipment once, poles and bindings and bright jackets no one needs anymore. Now it holds shadows and the promise of canned goods, maybe medicine, maybe nothing. She raises one hand. Ed stops. His breathing comes fast and thin. The cold does that. Makes the lungs work harder for less. Something shifts in the corner. Not wind, not snow falling through the broken roof. Something else. Merlyn clicks her tongue twice. The signal they agreed on. Could be one of the gone ones. Could be another survivor. Both are dangerous in different ways. Both will take what you have if you let them. Ed's hand tightens on his wooden bat. The wood is smooth where his palms wear it down. He shifts his weight. The floor groans. The shape in the corner moves again. Deliberate. Aware. This is how it goes now. You search for what you need, and something searches for you. The world is full of things that want. Hunger never ended. It just changed its face. Merlyn takes 2 steps forward. The rifle sight finds the shadow. Her finger rests beside the trigger. Not on it, not yet. A voice cuts through the dark. Human. Male. Nervous. Please, I don't want trouble. The words hang in the cold air like her breath did. Temporary. Fading. Ed exhales. Relief or fear? Hard to tell the difference anymore. Step out, Merlyn says. Slow. The shadow becomes a man. Thin. Shaking. Both hands raised. One hand is missing 2 fingers. Old injury. Frostbite maybe. Or something bit him before he got away. The man's eyes dart to the shelves behind them, to the supplies they already found. 3 cans, 1 blanket, not much. Never much. Where's your weapon, Merlyn says. Don't have one. Everyone has one. Lost it, yesterday. The gone ones. Had to run. Ed shifts again. His breath comes faster. The man watches Ed, watches the bat, measures distances and chances. This is the choice. Trust or suspicion. Let him close or send him away. Give him something or take everything. Merlyn lowers the rifle an inch. The man sees this. His shoulders drop, then the moan comes. Low, wet, from somewhere in the facility's deeper sections, where the light doesn't reach, where the gone ones gather in the dark and wait for sound to guide them. The man's eyes go wide. Ed takes a step back. His boot catches on debris. He stumbles. The noise echoes. Another moan answers. Closer. The man runs, not toward the exit, toward them, toward their supplies. His hand reaches for the blanket, for the cans. Merlyn swings the rifle, not to shoot, to block. The stock catches the man's reaching arm. He spins, falls, scrambles away. Ed grabs Merlyn's sleeve. We go. The moans multiply. 3, 4, maybe more. Hard to count when they overlap, when they hunger together. Merlyn backs toward the entrance. Ed follows, always following. The man stays on the ground. His eyes track them, track the supplies they leave behind. Outside, the snow falls harder. Fresh powder covers their tracks from an hour ago. We'll cover their new tracks in minutes. The world erases everything eventually. Every path, every choice, every person. They run. Not fast. Can't run fast in snow this deep. But steady. Keep moving. Stop and you freeze. Stop and something finds you. Behind them a sound, not a moan, sharper. Human. Human. A scream, then a gunshot. The sound rolls across the white landscape, echoes off the mountains, dies in the snow. Ed looks back. Merlyn doesn't. Looking back never helps. Never changes what's behind you. They keep moving, away from the facility, away from the screaming that stops, away from the moaning that doesn't. The snow swallows everything. Chapter 2. Cold shelter, hot blood. The barn rises from the snow like a broken tooth, half the roof gone. One wall caved inward, but the other walls stand, enough to block the wind, enough to hide in. Merlyn pushes through the door. No lock, no hinges left to hold it closed. Inside smells like rot and old hay and animal fear that soaked into the wood years ago. Before, when barns held living things. Ed stumbles in behind her, his face red from cold, his breath coming in gasps. Check the corners, Merlyn says. He moves along the walls. Bat raised. Nothing jumps out. Nothing moans. Just the wind through the broken roof. Just their breathing. Merlyn finds the ladder to the loft, tests the rungs. Old wood. Dry. Holds her weight. She climbs. The loft is smaller than the ground floor, but more intact. Hay still scattered in clumps, dust thick on everything. Up here she calls. Ed climbs, slower. His hands shake on the rungs from cold, from the running, from the gunshot still ringing in his head. They collapse in the hay. Not soft, brittle and sharp, but dry. Off the frozen ground. Small mercies in the long winter. Ed pulls out his notebook, sketches something. The facility maybe, the layout, the things he remembers. He does this after every place, maps the world as they move through it. Like, maps matter now. You think he made it, Ed says. Who? The man. Back there. Merlyn doesn't answer. They both heard the scream, both heard it stop. Ed's pencil scratches on paper, the sound too loud in the quiet. That gunshot, he says. Someone else was there, someone with bullets. Could be the man's gun. Could be he found it after all. Ed nods. Wants to believe it. Needs to. Merlyn checks her rifle. 5 rounds left. She had 20 when they started out, 3 weeks ago. Before they left the last camp, before the others got careless and the gone ones got in. 5 rounds. Make them count. Make them last. From below comes a sound. Scratching. Something at the barn door. Ed freezes. Pencil still pressed to paper. The scratching continues. Slow. Methodical. Not wind. Not snow sliding off the roof. Merlyn moves to the loft edge. Looks down. The door shifts. Opens wider. A shape pushes through. One of the gone ones, it moves like a memory of walking. Stiff. Wrong. The cold makes them slower, freezes their joints, but doesn't stop them. Nothing stops them except the brain going dark. The gone one lifts its head, sniffs. They can't smell well, not like before, but they sense something. Heat, movement, life. It takes a step, another. Circles the ground floor, searching. Ed crawls to the edge beside Merlyn, his breathing loud, too loud. She puts a hand over his mouth. He nods, tries to quiet, tries to disappear. The gone one stops, tilts its head, listening. Above them the wind picks up, the barn creaks, wood settling, temperature dropping as the sun dies behind the mountains. More scratching, not from below now, from outside. Multiple sources. The gunshot drew them. Sound carries in the cold, draws them like blood draws flies. 3 more gone ones push through the door, then 2 more. They cluster on the ground floor, shuffling, bumping each other. No coordination, no thought, just hunger with legs. Merlyn counts. 6. Could handle 1, maybe 2 if the shots land right. 6 is too many. Ed's eyes ask the question, his mouth pressed shut under her hand. She points up, to the broken roof, to the gap where winter comes in. He shakes his head. Too high, too dangerous. The gone ones moan, quiet at first, then louder, calling to each other. The sound fills the barn, fills the empty spaces where living voices used to be. No choice, Merlyn mouths. They crawl across the loft. Hay rustles beneath them. The gone ones below stop moving, stop moaning, listening. Merlyn reaches the gap in the roof, snow piled on the edges, wind cutting through. She pulls herself up. The wood is frozen, brittle, cracks under her hands. Below, the moaning starts again. Eager now, excited. Ed follows her up. His bat strapped to his back, his hands shaking, not from cold anymore. The roof slopes down, steep, covered in ice and fresh snow. Beyond it, the ground waits, 10 feet down, maybe 12. Could break a leg, could break a neck. Behind them, something crashes. The ladder, the gone ones found it, knocking it down, climbing it, learning again. Merlyn slides down the roof, can't stop, too fast. She hits the edge and flies, lands in a drift. Snow explodes around her, cold floods her lungs. Ed comes after, tumbles, rolls, lands beside her. They don't wait, don't check for injuries, just run, away from the barn, away from the moaning that follows them into the night. Behind them, more sounds, not moans, screaming, human. From the woods beyond the barn, the other survivors, the ones with bullets, the ones who fired that shot, the screaming rises, then cuts off, sharp, final. The snow keeps falling. Chapter 3, Hunger's Bitter Edge. Morning comes gray and still, no sun breaks through the clouds, just lighter dark replacing darker dark, the shape of day without its warmth. They sit in the barn's shadow, not inside, never inside again, but close enough to use the wall as a windbreak. Close enough to pretend they have shelter. Merlyn opens her pack, takes inventory, 2 protein bars, crushed but edible, 1 can of beans, the opener rusted but functional, a handful of stale crackers in a plastic bag, Sophie's rabbit pressed against the bottom, its fur matted with dirt and time. She doesn't touch the rabbit, never does. Ed watches her count. His stomach makes sounds, loud in the morning quiet. He looks away, embarrassed, as if hunger is something to hide. When did we eat last? He says. Yesterday, morning. That was 2 days ago. Was it? Ed pulls out his notebook, flips back, counts, shows her the dates he scratched in the margins, his handwriting getting shakier, his measurements getting loose. 2 days, he says again. Merlyn splits 1 protein bar, gives him the larger half. He stares at it, the math clear in his eyes. How long can they stretch this? How far can they go on this little... There's a village, she says, on the map. 3 miles east. The map might be wrong. Maps are always wrong now. Ed chews slowly, makes the food last. His jaw works mechanically, fuel going in, energy coming out. The basic mathematics of staying alive. What if there's nothing there, he says. Then we keep moving. What if there's gone ones? There's always gone ones. What if there's people? Living people, that man. Then we're careful. Ed finishes his half, licks his fingers, puts them in his mouth to suck the last molecules of salt and protein. No shame in it. Not anymore. Merlyn eats her half. Same slow chewing, same mechanical purpose. The protein bar tastes like cardboard and chemicals, like every protein bar that ever was. Some things the apocalypse didn't change. The village will have houses, she says, basements. People stored things in basements, canned goods, bottled water, things that last. They stored them for emergencies. This is an emergency. That Ed laughs, bitter and short. This isn't an emergency. Emergencies end. They pack up, roll the blanket they found at another barn, strap it to Ed's pack, check weapons, check boots, the small rituals that mark the day's beginning. The snow is knee-deep in places, deeper where drifts formed. They walk single file, Merlyn first, breaking trail, Ed behind, stepping in her footprints, saving energy, learning. The forest closes around them, pine trees heavy with snow, branches bent low, some broken, the weight too much, the cold too long. Between the trees the silence is absolute, no birds, no small animals, nothing moving except them and the wind and the snow that never stops falling. Ed's stomach growls again. He presses his hand against it, as if pressure can quiet hunger, as if want responds to reason. They walk, 1 foot, then another. The only way forward is forward. The only way through is through. All the simple truths no one needed to say before. A sound stops them, not a moan, not the wind, something else. Merlyn raises her fist. Ed freezes behind her. The sound comes again, rhythmic, mechanical. Something hitting something, metal on metal maybe, or wood on wood. She moves toward it, slow. The rifle up, Ed follows. Closer now, his shoulder almost touching hers. Through the trees ahead, a shape, dark against white, moving, alive, not gone, not shambling, moving with purpose. A person, they watch. The person swings something, an axe, chopping at a fallen tree. The blows echo, sharp, regular, work being done. Ed's hand touches Merlyn's arm, question in his fingers. She shakes her head. Not yet. Watch first. Learn first. Trust last. The person stops chopping, stands, turns. Even from here they can see it, the way the body moves. Fluid, controlled. Someone who knows what they're doing. Someone who survived this long for a reason. The person picks up wood, carries it toward something behind the trees. A structure, a camp. Merlyn backs away, Ed follows. They retreat into the forest, quiet, invisible, gone before being seen. When they're far enough, Ed speaks, his voice low. Could have been friendly, could have been. We need food. We'll find food. Where? The village. Like I said, they walk again, the sound of chopping fades behind them. Another survivor carving their piece of the new world. Another person they'll never know. Ed's stomach growls, Merlyn's answers. A duet of hunger, a symphony of need. Ahead, the trees thin. Beyond them, shapes rise from the snow. Buildings, roofs, the skeleton of community. The village waiting, empty or full, safe or deadly. The only way to know is to go. They step from the trees into the white expanse, into whatever comes next. Behind them in the forest, something moves. Eyes watch. Follow. Something that knows their smell now. Knows their path. Something that's learning to hunt. Chapter 4. Village of the Damned. The village is smaller than the map promised. 8 houses, maybe 10. Hard to tell where one ends and another begins under the snow. Main Street buried. Storefronts dark. Windows broken or boarded. The universal language of abandonment. Merlyn scans each building, looking for movement, for signs, for anything that says living or gone or empty. The rifle scope brings each window close, each shadow sharp. Nothing moves. Too quiet, Ed says. It's always quiet, not like this. He's right, there's quiet and there's silent. This is silent, the absence of everything. Even the wind stopped. They move down what used to be the main street. Stay close to the buildings, use the walls as cover, standard procedure now. The things they learned by staying alive. First house on the left, door hanging open, snow drifted inside, no tracks, no signs of recent entry. They step through, the inside is frozen, everything coated in frost. Pictures on the walls, family photos, smiling faces from before when smiling meant something. Kitchen in the back, Merlyn opens cabinets, empty. All of them. Someone came through already. Took everything worth taking. Ed checks the basement, comes back shaking his head. Nothing. They try the next house, same story. Cabinets bare, basement empty. Whoever lived here left or got taken. Either way, they took their supplies with them. Third house, fourth house, fifth house, all the same. All empty, all silent. Ed's hope drains with each empty shelf. His shoulders sag, his steps slow. Maybe everyone had the same idea, he says. Stock up, head out, go somewhere safer. There is nowhere safer. They reach the store, bigger than the houses, 2 stories, windows intact, door still locked. Merlyn tries the handle. Solid. She steps back, aims the rifle at the lock, hesitates. 1 bullet, 1 less for later. But maybe food inside. Maybe water. The calculation everyone makes now. Spend resources to get resources. Hope you come out ahead. She fires. The shot cracks across the village, echoes off the mountains, announces them to everything with ears. The lock shatters. The door swings open, darkness inside. They wait, count to 30. Nothing emerges. Merlyn goes first, flashlight in one hand, rifle in the other. Ed follows, his bat raised, his breath loud. The store is chaos, shelves knocked over, goods scattered. Someone came through here too. But in a hurry, not organized, not careful. Merlyn picks through the debris, finds 3 cans, soup, vegetables, beans. The labels faded but readable. She passes one to Ed, puts 2 in her pack. Keep looking, she says. They move through the aisles, or what used to be aisles. Now just paths through destruction, through the evidence of panic. Ed finds a box. Crackers, half empty but still sealed. He holds it up like treasure, like gold. Then the smell hits. Sweet. Rotten. Familiar. They freeze. The smell comes from the back, from behind the counter, from the storage room with its door hanging open. Merlyn moves toward it, slow, the rifle leading. The storage room is dark. Her flashlight finds shapes, crates, and something else. Bodies. 3 of them, piled in the corner. Not gone ones, just gone. Regular dead, the kind that doesn't get up. Life. Merlyn's light moves over them, looking for cause, looking for story. 2 have marks on their throats, dark stains on their clothes. The 3rd has nothing visible, just stillness. They didn't turn, Ed says. No, someone put them here. Stacked them. Yes. Why? Merlyn doesn't answer. Lots of reasons to stack bodies, none of them good. They back out of the storage room. The smell follows them. Sweet rot, the perfume of endings. Outside, Ed gulps fresh air, his face pale, his hands shaking. A sound, distant, getting closer, moaning, multiple voices, overlapping, coming from the east end of the village, where the houses cluster tight, where shadows gather. The gunshot, Ed says. It called them. Merlyn counts the moans, 5 at least, maybe more, too many for 5 bullets, too many for a bat and a rifle and 2 people who barely ate in 2 days. She points north, away from the moans, away from the village. They run, as much as anyone runs in snow this deep. More like fast walking, like urgent stumbling. Behind them the moaning grows, excited, hunting. The gone ones pour into the main street, follow the fresh tracks, follow the scent. Ed looks back. His eyes wide. How many? Don't look. Just move. A different sound cuts through the moaning, sharp, mechanical, a radio, someone speaking. The sound comes from a house at the village edge, 2nd-story window, a light, flickering, weak but there. Someone alive, someone with power. Someone who might have food, or someone who might have a gun, who might see them as competition, as thieves, as problems. The moaning closer now, 20 yards, maybe less. The house or the woods, shelter or escape. The choice measured in seconds. Merlyn runs for the house. Ed follows, always following. They burst through the door, slam it behind them, throw the bolt, won't hold long. Never does, but maybe long enough. Upstairs the radio crackles, a voice emerges, tinny, distant. This is Station 7 calling any survivors. If you can hear this signal, respond. Safe zone coordinates following. Repeat. This is Station 7. Safe zone exists. Respond if you can hear. The message loops. Ends. Starts again. Station 7. Safe zone. Hope wrapped in static. Outside the moaning reaches the door. Bodies press against it. The wood groans. The bolt rattles. The dead learning to push. Learning to want harder. Ed stares at the ceiling, at the radio upstairs. At the promise it makes. Is it real? He says. Merlyn checks the windows, looks for exits, for options, for anything but hope. Does it matter? She says. The door splinters. Hands reach through. Gray. Frozen. Grabbing. Chapter 5. Static Dreams. The stairs creak under their weight, each step loud, each sound drawing the gone ones below, drawing their attention to this path, this direction, this chance. The radio crackles louder as they climb, the voice repeating. Station 7. Safe zone. Coordinates in degrees and minutes. Numbers that might mean everything or nothing, might lead somewhere real or into empty air. 2nd floor hallway. 3 doors. 2 closed. 1 open. The radio voice comes from the open one. Merlyn sweeps the room. Small. Bedroom once, now just space with a bed frame and broken furniture and a desk where the radio sits. Green light pulsing with each word. Solar battery beside it. Window facing south. Catching what little light the gray day offers. No one here. Ed picks up the radio, turns it over, looking for answers in plastic and wires. The message loops. Station 7. Safe zone. Come home. Below the door gives. Wood splinters. Bodies pour through. Their moaning fills the house. Fills every room and hallway and closet. Sound with substance. Weight with hunger. Merlyn checks the other rooms. First one empty. Second one locked. She kicks it. The lock breaks easy. Inside dark. She sweeps with the flashlight. 2 bodies on the floor. Not moving. Not gone. Just finished. One holds a pistol. Still in the hand. Chamber empty. The other holds nothing. Just pressed close to the first. The way people hold each other when the end comes. On the wall above them someone wrote something. Marker on wallpaper. Shaky letters. The radio is a loop. Station 7 died 3 months ago. Don't go. Save your batteries. Save yourselves. Ed appears in the doorway, reads the message. His face changes. Hope draining out like water through a sieve. Merlyn takes the radio from his hands, finds the frequency dial, turns it. The voice cuts off. Static fills the silence. She keeps turning. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Then something. Different voice, weaker, barely there. This is Outpost 117. Anyone listening? Coordinates follow. Different coordinates, different numbers, different promise. Could be real, Ed says. Could be another loop, but could be real. Below, the gone ones reach the stairs. Start climbing. Slow. They're not good at stairs. The motion confuses them. But hunger makes them try. Makes them persistent. Merlyn finds a map in the desk drawer. Old, coffee-stained. She spreads it on the floor, finds the coordinates from the new broadcast, marks the spot with her finger. 80 miles. Give or take. Ed stares at the distance, at the space between here and there, at the impossibility of walking 80 miles through snow and gone ones and winter that doesn't end. That's weeks, he says. That's if we walk straight. If nothing stops us. Everything stops us. Not everything. The moaning rises. Closer now. Halfway up the stairs. Maybe more. Merlyn folds the map, puts it in her pack, picks up the radio, the new voice still crackling, still promising, still lying or telling truth. No way to know without going. Window, she says. Ed looks. Second story. 20 feet to the ground. Snow below might cushion. Might not. You're joking. Do I joke? He doesn't answer. She doesn't either. They both know the answer. Neither of them laughs anymore. Humor died with everything else. Merlyn opens the window. Cold rushes in. The gone ones smell it. Smell the opening. The escape. They moan louder. Excited. Anticipating. She throws the blanket out. It falls. Lands soft. Disappears into the powder. Then her pack. Same trajectory, same disappearance. Ed throws his pack, his bat, his notebook that maps the dying world. First gone one reaches the landing, sees them, reaches, falls, gets up, reaches again. The others push behind it, a wall of wanting, a tide of hunger. Merlyn climbs through the window, hangs from the sill, her fingers already numb, already losing feeling. She drops, hits the snow, goes under. Everything white and cold and smothering. She thrashes up, breaks the surface, gasps. Ed comes next, screaming, his fear louder than the gone ones. He hits, goes under, comes up coughing. They grab their packs, their weapons. Don't look back at the house, at the moaning that spills from every window now, at the gone ones pressing against the glass, learning to want what's outside. East, Merlyn says. Following the coordinates, following the new voice, following the only hope left. They walk. Behind them, the village fills with gone ones, more than they thought, more than they counted. They must have heard the gunshot, heard the commotion, came from everywhere, came from nowhere, just hungry, just there. Ed looks back once, just once. The village almost beautiful under all that snow. Almost peaceful, if you ignore the shapes moving between houses. The darkness in the windows, the moaning that carries on the wind. Could have been safe there, he says. Could have boarded up. Waited them out. They don't wait out. Could have tried. Trying isn't living. What is? Not dying. Ed thinks about this, turns it over, trying to find the difference, trying to find meaning in the space between words. The radio crackles, the new voice repeating. Outpost 117, coordinates. An invitation to walk 80 miles through hell for the chance at something better. Or just different, or just not here. They walk. The village shrinks behind them. The moaning fades. The snow falls. Everything fades. Everything falls. Everything shrinks until it's gone. Until it's just them and the white and the cold and the voice promising something that might not exist, but might. And might is enough. Has to be enough, is all they have. Chapter 6, Icebound Betrayal. The man appears at dusk, when the light goes bad and shadows could be anything. Could be trees, could be gone ones, could be people. He's people. He comes from behind a snowbank. Hands raised, smile on his face, the kind of smile that wants to be friendly, tries to be trustworthy, falls short. Easy, he calls. Just saw your tracks. Been alone 3 weeks. Could use some company. Merlyn stops. The rifle finds him, not aimed at him, just pointed near him, ready to adjust. Ed stands beside her, the bat loose in his hands, his body language uncertain, wanting to trust. Afraid to. The man walks closer, slow, non-threatening. He's older, 50 maybe, weather-beaten, missing 2 fingers on his left hand, stumps healed over. Old injury. Name's Carl, he says. Used to be a contractor, built houses before. Before covers everything now. Entire lifetimes compressed into one word. We're fine, Merlyn says. Thanks, come on, no one's fine. This your husband, son? Partner, Ed says. We're partners. Carl nods, accepts this. Got a place, 2 miles west, cabin, good roof, fireplace, could share. Just for tonight. Too cold to keep moving. Merlyn doesn't answer. Measures him, his clothes, his condition, the pack on his back, the knife on his belt, the missing fingers, the story they tell. What happened to your hand? She says. Frostbite, last winter. Lost them before I could get to heat. That's not frostbite. Carl's smile fades, comes back. Sure it is. What else would it be? Something bit you. Before you got away, the smile gone now. His eyes different, calculating, reassessing. That was years ago, before the gone ones. Different bite, different story. Ed shifts, nervous, the bat coming up slightly. Not much, just ready. We should keep moving, he says quietly. Merlyn, we should go. Carl hears this, sees the decision forming. His hand moves toward his belt. Not fast, not slow, just moving. Wait, he says. Come on. I'm offering help. Real help. You got food? Water? I got both. Got supplies, got safety. All I want is someone to watch my back while I sleep. Someone to share the fire. That's it. Merlyn backs away. 1 step, Ed follows. Their packs heavy. Their weapons ready. The distance between them and Carl growing. Really, Carl says, his voice harder now. The friendly mask slipping. You're gonna walk away. Leave me here. Leave me alone. After I offered you everything. We didn't ask for anything, Merlyn says. You took my time. My goodwill. That's something. He's moving now, not toward them, circling, keeping distance but adjusting angle, looking for advantage, looking for opening. Ed's hand finds Merlyn's sleeve, pulls gently. Let's go. Now, they back away faster. Carl matches pace, the space between them constant, his hand on his knife handle now. Not threatening, just there, just visible. You'll regret this, he says, out here, alone, winter coming down, gone ones everywhere. You'll wish you had my cabin, my fire, my protection. We'll manage, Merlyn says. No one manages. Everyone breaks, you'll see. They turn, start walking, fast, not running. Never run unless chased. Running wastes energy, wastes warmth, wastes everything. Behind them, Carl shouts something, the words lost in wind, lost in the distance growing between them, lost in the choice made. Ed looks back once, Carl standing there, watching, not following, just watching. His shape dark against white, his missing fingers visible, his intentions clear. Think he'll follow, Ed says. No. Why? Because we have nothing he wants, nothing worth the effort. He wanted company. He wanted victims. They walk through twilight, through the space where day dies and night births, the temperature dropping, the wind rising, the cold becoming absolute. Ed shivers, the adrenaline wearing off, the fear settling in. We should have taken his offer, just for the night. No offer was real. Could have been. Wasn't. How do you know? Because people don't offer help anymore. They offer bait. They walk in silence, the snow crunching, their breath clouding. The darkness complete now, no moon, no stars, just black above, white below, gray everywhere between. A shape rises ahead darker than the dark, stone. Natural, a cave mouth open like a wound in the hillside. Merlyn approaches, careful, listening, smelling. The cave breathes cold air, but dry, no rot, no sweet decay, no signs of occupation. She steps inside, the darkness absolute. Her flashlight cuts a tunnel through it, stone walls, narrow entrance, wider interior, depth unknown. Ed follows her in, away from the wind, away from the cold, away from Carl and his smile and his missing fingers and his cabin that might exist, or might not, or might exist but full of things worse than cold. They go deep, far from the entrance, far from anything that might wander in. set their packs down, sit against stone, the temperature inside barely better than outside. But the wind stopped. Small mercy. Ed pulls out his notebook. Can't see to write. Just holds it. Comfort in the familiar, in the ritual, in the evidence that he still exists enough to record existing. Tomorrow, we keep going, Merlyn says. Follow the coordinates. Find the outpost. Find whatever's there. What if there's nothing? Then we keep going. To where? Wherever isn't here. Ed laughs. No humor in it, just sound, just alive enough to make noise. Outside, something howls. Not gone ones, not human. Something else. Something that survived everything that unlived everything else. Something that learned to hunt when the world forgot how to live. The howl rises, falls, rises again. Closer now, coming toward the cave, coming toward them. Merlyn's hand finds her rifle. Ed's hand finds his bat. They sit in the dark, waiting. Chapter 7, Frostbitten Resolve. The howling stops. Silence rushes in to fill the space. Worse than the howling. Silence means listening, means hunting, means something found their scent. Merlyn moves to the cave entrance, stays in shadow, looks out at the white landscape. Nothing moves, everything's still, the kind of still that comes before movement, before violence, before the world remembers it's hungry. Ed's breathing comes shallow, fast. His hands shake, not from cold now, from something deeper. Something older than the apocalypse, fear that lived in caves before humans learned to make fire. She turns back, sees him in the flashlight's edge, his face pale, his lips blue. Not just fear, something wrong. Show me your hands, she says. What? Your hands. Show me. He holds them out, the fingers white, waxy, no feeling, the flesh hard when she touches it. Frostbite, real frostbite, not Carl's lie. The truth that steals pieces of you one finger at a time. How long, she says. I don't know. Since the village, maybe. Since we ran, I couldn't feel them. Thought it was just cold. It is cold. Too much cold. She pulls off his gloves, the fingers worse than expected, 3 of them white to the second knuckle, the others pink but darkening, the skin alien. Ed stares at his hands like they belong to someone else, like he's watching someone else lose pieces of themselves. Are they gone, he says. The fingers. Not yet. But soon. Maybe. She digs through her pack, finds the first aid kit, pulls out gauze, tape, nothing in there for frostbite, nothing in there for most of what needs fixing. We need heat, she says. Need to warm them slowly. Too fast and the tissue ruptures. Too slow and it dies anyway. How? Fire. We can't make fire here. The smoke, the light. Everything will see it. Everything already knows we're here. The howling proved that. Ed shakes his head. No fire. Too dangerous. I'll be fine. Just need to warm them myself. Body heat. That's not enough. It'll have to be. Merlyn looks at his hands again, at the white spreading, at the boundary between living tissue and tissue that forgot how to live, the line moving, claiming more with each minute. She stands, walks to the cave entrance, scans the landscape, still nothing, still silent, but the silence feels occupied now, feels watched. She moves outside, gathers dead branches, finds them under the snow, frozen, brittle, hard to break, but she manages, carries them back inside, deeper, away from the entrance, where the cave narrows and turns and the smoke might disperse before reaching the opening. Ed watches, his hands tucked under his arms, his whole body shaking now. The cold getting inside, getting deep. This is stupid, he says. This will draw everything. Probably. So why? Because you need your fingers. Need them to hold the bat, to write in your notebook, to stay useful. His face hardens. I'm useful. Not without hands. She builds the fire small, uses the lighter from her pack. 3 tries. 4. The frozen wood resistant, but fire is patient. Fire is persistent. Fire remembers how to burn even when everything else forgets. The flames catch, grow, fill the cave with orange light, with heat that feels like memory, like something from before, from when fire was comfort, before it became beacon. Come here, she says. Ed moves closer, holds his hands near the flames, not too close, not too far, the distance perfect for healing or failing. No way to know which. Minutes pass, the fire-consuming wood, the heat spreading. Ed's fingers start to pink, the white retreating, the line between living and dying, shifting. choosing. He gasps, the pain starting, nerves waking up, remembering their purpose. His face contorts, teeth clenched, eyes watering. That's good, Merlyn says. Pain means alive. Doesn't feel good. Nothing does. The fire burns. The heat works. Ed's fingers return. Pink, then red, then purple. The spectrum of survival. The colors that mean continuation. Outside the howling returns. Closer now. Multiple voices. Pack animals. Dogs maybe, or wolves, or something that used to be dogs before hunger changed them. Before the world made everything meaner. Merlyn feeds the fire, keeps it small but steady, enough to save Ed, not enough to announce them completely. The balance impossible, the choice already made. Ed flexes his fingers, slow, painful, but they move, they respond, they remain attached. Thank you, he says. Don't thank me yet. The howling surrounds the cave now. 3 directions, maybe 4. The pack circling, planning, not mindless like the gone ones, intelligent, coordinated, dangerous in different ways. Merlyn picks up her rifle, checks the chamber, 4 rounds, used 1 on the store lock, 4 left, not enough for a pack, never enough. Ed stands, finds his bat, tests his grip. Weak but functional, the fingers responding to his will. Not perfectly, but enough. How many, he says, don't know. 3 at least. We can't fight 3. We can't run either. Not with your hands like that. So what? So we fight. The first shape appears at the cave entrance. Low, lean, eyes reflecting the firelight, green, yellow. Colors that don't care, colors that just want. Dog was a dog, still shaped like a dog, but the fur matted, the ribs showing. The mouth opening to show teeth that evolved for something gentler than this, than survival, than eating whatever moves. 2 more appear beside it, smaller, faster looking, flanking, the pack using tactics, using intelligence, using everything the gone ones forgot. Merlyn aims, the rifle steady, her breath controlled, the fire crackling behind her. Ed beside her, his bat raised, his hands shaking but holding. The dogs advance, slow, testing, looking for weakness, looking for fear, finding both but coming anyway. Hunger stronger than caution, always stronger. The first one lunges. Merlyn fires, the shot loud in the cave, deafening. The dog drops, mid-leap, falls, doesn't get up. 3 rounds left. The others don't retreat. They separate, 1 right, learning, adapting, making her choose. She aims left. The dog dodges, fast, too fast, too fast. Her shot misses, hits stone, sparks. 2 rounds, the right dog attacks. Ed swings, connects. The bat catching ribs, the dog yelping, falling back, but not down, not finished. The left dog lunges at Merlyn. She sidesteps, barely. Its teeth catch her sleeve, tear fabric, exposed skin to cold. She reverses the rifle, smashes the stock into its skull once, twice. It releases, staggers. She aims, fires. 1 round. The injured dog circles, limping, ribs broken maybe, but still moving, still wanting. Ed faces it, his bat ready, his fingers barely holding. Come on, he whispers, come on. The dog charges. Ed swings too early. The dog ducks under, jumps, jaws open, going for the throat, for the finish. Merlyn's last shot catches it midair. The body drops at Ed's feet, twitches, still. 0 rounds. They stand in the silence, the fire behind them. 3 dogs in front, not moving, not breathing, just finished. Ed collapses, sits hard, his hands shaking worse now. Adrenaline and pain and exhaustion mixing, creating something that looks like breaking. Merlyn reloads, 5 rounds from her pack. Last 5. After this, nothing. After this, just the knife. Just the bat, just running until they can't. The fire burns low, the wood consumed, the heat fading. Outside, the temperature drops further, night deepening, winter tightening. The cold absolute now, the cold total. Ed looks at his hands, flexes them. They work. They survived. Small victory. Maybe enough. We can't stay here, he says. No. Where do we go? Away from the fire, away from the light, away from everything that saw it. He stands, tests his legs, picks up his bat, ready. Not willing, but ready. The difference small, but there, they leave the cave, step into the night. Behind them, the fire dies, the orange fading to red, red to black, gone. Like everything, like everyone, like the world that was. The howling doesn't return, the pack satisfied, or gone, or waiting. No way to know. Just keep moving, just keep breathing, just keep being the thing that doesn't stop. They walk through darkness, through cold that wants them gone, through a world that forgot their names. Ahead somewhere may be an outpost, maybe coordinates that mean something, maybe Station 117 with its crackling voice, its promise, its hope wrapped in static, or maybe nothing. Maybe just more walking, more cold, more night, more everything that takes and nothing that gives. But they walk anyway, because stopping means choosing. And the only choice that matters is forward. Always forward. Even when forward means nothing. Even when nothing is all that's left. Ed's fever starts an hour later. Chapter 8, Whispers in the Dark. The fever comes fast. 1 minute Ed is walking, next he's stumbling. His breath ragged, his skin hot under Merlyn's touch. Too hot, the kind of hot that burns from inside. "I'm fine," he says. "Just tired. You're sick. Just tired." He collapses, knees first, then hands, then full body into the snow, the white swallowing him. His pack sliding off, his bat falling. Merlyn drags him up, gets his arm over her shoulders, his weight unexpected, heavy, the fever making him dense, making gravity work harder. They stumble forward, not walking, not really, just moving, finding some direction that might mean shelter, might mean safety, might mean anything but here. A shape emerges from the snow, square, artificial, buried but visible, heads toward it. The weight of Ed pulling her down, the weight of his fever burning through his clothes, through her clothes, the heat desperate, dying. The shape is a bunker, old, military maybe, or civil defense from the time when people thought defense was possible, when they thought preparation meant survival. The door is locked. Merlyn sets Ed down. He slumps, eyes unfocused, lips moving, words coming out, not sense, just sounds. She tries the handle, solid. She steps back, aims. Remembers she has 4 rounds, 5 if she loaded right. Can't waste them. Not on a door. The knife then. She works the blade into the gap. Prees, levers. The metal old, rusted. The lock mechanism frozen. She puts weight behind it. Uses the rifle stock for hammering. The impacts loud in the silence, announcing them, drawing attention. No choice. The lock breaks. The door swings inward. Darkness inside, deeper than night. The kind that lives underground, that never saw sun, never will. She drags Ed inside, his fever making him shake, his teeth chattering, the contradiction of burning and freezing, of being too hot and too cold. The body confused, the system failing. Inside the bunker smells like earth and metal and time, like everything sealed away and forgotten. She pulls Ed deeper, away from the door, away from the entrance, sets him down, goes back, shuts the door, finds a bar, slides it across, locks them in, locks everything out. Her flashlight cuts the darkness, shows concrete walls, metal shelves, boxes, crates, supplies from decades ago, from when this bunker meant something, meant survival, meant hope. She finds blankets, wrapped in plastic, still sealed. She tears them open, covers Ed, 2 blankets, 3. He shivers under them. The fever raging, his face pale, his lips blue, the heat inside not reaching his skin, not warming what needs warming. Merlyn searches the shelves, looking for medicine, for antibiotics, for anything that fights infection, fights fever, fights whatever is taking Ed away. Boxes of MREs, rations from before, sealed, preserved, probably still good. Probably. Crates of water, bottles sealed, labels faded, but water, actual water, not melted snow, not questionable, just water. No medicine, nothing medical, just food and water and blankets and empty promises. She goes back to Ed, holds a bottle to his lips, tilts. The water runs down his chin, into his beard. Some makes it past his lips, into his mouth. He swallows. Reflex. The body remembering even when the mind forgets. His eyes open. See her. See through her. See something else entirely. "Sophie," he says. "Sophie, I'm sorry. I'm not Sophie. I should have saved you. Should have been faster. Ed, it's Merlyn. You're sick. You're sick. You have fever. The snow. So much snow. Can't find you. Can't see. Stop talking. Save energy." His eyes close. Open. Close. The fever dragging him down into itself, into the heat that burns everything, that consumes from inside. Merlyn pulls off her pack, searches, the first aid kit almost empty. Gauze, tape, Band-aids. Nothing for fever, nothing for infection, just cosmetic solutions for profound problems. She finds the journal she took from the last camp before they ran, before everything went wrong. Medical notes, a doctor's observations. She flips through, looking for anything useful. Fever treatment. Page 17. She reads the words clinical, distant, cool water. Lower the temperature gradually, monitor for seizures, keep hydrated, avoid rapid cooling, instructions for a world with hospitals, with IV drips, with machines that beep, that care, that try. She wets a cloth with the bottled water, presses it to Ed's forehead, his temples, his neck, the water warming instantly. His skin so hot, the fever absolute, he mumbles, words emerging, some clear, most not, stories from before, names, places, things he lost, people he failed, the guilt surfacing, the fever burning away the filters, the walls, the lies people tell themselves to keep moving. I left them, he says suddenly. Clear, direct. I heard them screaming and I ran. I know, you know. Yes, and you stayed with me. After knowing. Yes. Why? Because you're here. Because you stayed with me. Because we're all cowards who didn't run until we did. His hand finds hers. Squeezes. Weak, but there. Connection. Proof of existing, of being. Don't let me turn, he says. If I do, if the fever is something else, something worse. Promise me you're not bitten. Promise me you're not going to turn. Promise. I promise. He relaxes. The permission given, the fear acknowledged, the trust complete. Merlyn changes the cloth, cools it again, the water running low. She rations it, each drop measured, each application calculated, making it last, making everything last. Hours pass. The fever rises, falls, rises again. Ed's body fighting, winning, losing, the battle internal, invisible. Everything decided in tissue and blood and cells too small to see. Merlyn doesn't sleep, sits beside him, changes the cloth, gives water, watches for seizures, for the moment when fever becomes something permanent, becomes ending. Around midnight by her watch, the fever breaks. Not gone, just less. Ed's skin cooling, his breathing settling, the shaking stopping. He opens his eyes. Clear, present, aware. Merlyn, he says, here. Where are we? Bunker. You got sick, had fever, have, but less. He tries to sit, falls back, the weakness profound, the fever taking everything, leaving nothing but breath, but heartbeat, but the small machinery of continuation. Rest, Merlyn says. We stay here, at least a day, let you heal. At the coordinates. Can wait, the outpost, can wait. He nods, closes his eyes, not fever now, just exhaustion, just the normal cost of surviving. The price everyone pays. Merlyn explores the bunker while he sleeps, the flashlight revealing more shelves, more boxes, a desk in the corner, papers scattered, journals, someone's notes, someone's attempt at understanding. She picks up a journal, opens it, the handwriting tight, precise. A woman's hand maybe, or a man's who cared about clarity, about being understood. Day 47 since outbreak, observations continue. Subjects show decreased cognitive function, motor skills degraded, hunting behavior remains, feeding behavior efficient, no communication observed, no tool use, intelligence minimal but persistent. Hypothesis, infection targets higher brain function, leaves brainstem intact, creates hunger, removes everything else, more pages, more observations. Clinical, detached. The kind of notes someone makes when the world ends and they try to understand, try to fix, try to matter. Day 89. Subjects respond to brainstem trauma. Severing the connection stops motor function, permanent cessation. This is the weakness. This is how they stop. Dr. Elizabeth Miller, CDC virologist, if anyone reads this, tell them we tried, tell them we learned, tell them it wasn't enough. Merlyn closes the journal, sets it down. The woman who wrote it, not here. Gone. Turned or just gone. Either way, not writing anymore. Not observing, not trying, but the information remains. Brainstem. The weakness, the way to stop them. Common knowledge now, but once it was discovery, once someone had to learn it, had to test it, had to prove it. She picks up another journal, later dates, different handwriting, same woman but rougher, shakier, desperate. Day 143, alone now. Last assistant turned yesterday. Had to put her down, the phrase so clinical, so insufficient. Had to stop her, had to make her cease, had to take away her continuation. All the words that mean unliving, that mean making something stop. Day 156, food running low. Haven't left bunker in 2 weeks. They're outside, waiting, patient. The dead are so patient, the living always in a hurry, always running out of time. The dead have nothing but time. They can wait forever. We can't. Day 178, bit yesterday, checking for symptoms, no fever yet, maybe immune, maybe, please. The journal ends, no more entries, no more observations, just pages, empty, white, the way the world ended, not with words, with silence. With absence, with pages that stay blank forever. Merlyn puts the journal in her pack, evidence, proof, information, maybe useful, maybe just weight. But she takes it anyway, takes the record of someone trying, someone failing, someone being. Ed stirs, opens his eyes, his face less pale, his breathing normal, the fever gone, or hiding, waiting for another chance. How long, he says. 6 hours, maybe 7, feels like days. It was, just short ones. He sits up, slow, careful. His body remembering how, finding the balance, the strength, the ways to continue. We should move, he says. Been here too long, you need rest. I need to not die in a bunker, rather die walking. Merlyn doesn't argue, knows the feeling. The bunker is safe, is shelter, is everything they need. But staying means waiting, means letting the world come to you. Better to go to it, better to choose the moving, the direction, the intention. They pack up, MREs in their bags, water bottles, blankets. The journals. Ed moves slow but steady, the fever taking pieces but leaving enough, leaving him functional, leaving him here. Outside the bunker, dawn threatens, the darkness less absolute, gray light creeping in, the eternal sunrise that never quite arrives, never quite commits, just gray, forever gray. They walk, east, following coordinates, following promises, following the voice in the static that might mean something, that might mean everything. That probably means nothing, but still worth walking toward, still worth trying for. Behind them, the bunker sinks back into snow, back into forgetting, back into the landscape of buried things, buried hopes, buried people who tried and failed and became pages that stay blank. Ahead, something waits, always waiting. The world full of waiting things, of hungry things, of things that want and never stop wanting. But they walk anyway, because walking means choosing, and choosing means living, and living means walking. The circle complete, the logic simple, the truth absolute. 1 foot, then another, forever. Chapter 9, Knowledge or Death. The barricade holds through the first wave, desks pushed against the bunker door, filing cabinets, shelves, everything movable, stacked and wedged and prayed over, not out loud, just the silent prayers, the kind where you think please and mean it. The gone one came through the ventilation shaft. Impossible, too small, but hunger makes bodies flexible, makes them forget their limits, makes them try. It dropped into the bunker while they were packing, while they were preparing to leave, the timing perfect, the universe laughing, the apocalypse having a sense of humor after all. Merlyn shot it, point blank, center mass. It didn't stop. The rifle bolt jammed, old ammunition, old weapon, everything old and failing and refusing to work when needed. Ed swung the bat, connected. The gone one staggered, reached. Ed swung again. The impacts wet, heavy. The gone one dropping. Finally, the head caved, the brainstem severed, the weakness exploited, the lesson from Dr. Miller's journal proving true. But the moaning brought others, the sound traveling through the ventilation, through the shaft too small for bodies but perfect for noise, for calling, for summoning. Now they push against the barricade. 3 gone ones, maybe 4, maybe more. Hard to count through the gaps, through the spaces between furniture, through the fingers reaching, grabbing, wanting. The journal, Ed says, the woman's notes, anything else useful. Merlyn flips through pages, scanning, looking for anything, any detail, any observation that helps. Day 92. Experimentation continues. Tested various methods. Blunt force trauma effective if sufficient. Blade penetration requires precision. Subjects attracted to sound, to movement, to the living, but weak and cold. Joints stiffen. Response time increases. Winter is ally, summer enemy, winter is ally. They're in winter, maximum winter, but the gone ones still move, still push, still want. More pages, more observations, chemical formulas, diagrams, the woman trying everything, testing everything, the scientist to the end. Day 134. Serum development continues, results promising, weakens subjects, slows neural response, does not stop, not cure, not solution, just temporary delay. Vials stored in lab, coordinates attached. If anyone finds this, if anyone reads this, the serum might help, might buy time, it might change nothing, but it's something. Something is better than nothing. Always. Coordinates listed, laboratory location, different from the bunker, separate facility, somewhere she worked before moving here, before the isolation, before the end. Where, Ed says, Merlyn checks the map, the coordinates, matches them, her finger finding the spot. North, 15 miles, maybe 20, that's toward the outpost, same direction, different destination. We going? Should we? The serum could help, could be nothing. Could be gone, could be worthless, but could help. The barricade groans, the gone ones pushing harder, learning, coordinating. The desk slides, inches, not much, but enough. Enough to show the barricade has limits, limits running out. We go, Merlyn says. Now, back door, through the bunker's rear exit, the escape route, the way out when the way in becomes the way dead. They grab their packs, their weapons, the journals, Ed's rifle bolt freed now. Too late. Always too late. They run. The rear exit is narrow, metal, locked from inside. Merlyn throws the bolt, the door opens, snow falls in, light falls in, the world waiting, always waiting. They stumble into morning. The gray light, the eternal gray. Behind them the barricade collapses, the gone ones pouring through. Following, hunting, the hunger tireless, the hunger eternal. Run, Merlyn says, just run. They do. Through snow, through cold, through the landscape of white and gray and nothing. Behind them the moaning, ahead nothing, nothing but coordinates, nothing but hope, nothing but the maybe of something better. The moaning fades, distance growing, the gone ones slow in the snow, slow in the cold. Winter is ally, the scientist was right, about that, about the cold, about something. They stop after a mile, maybe two, distance meaningless, just far enough, just safe enough, just breathing enough. Ed collapses, his breath coming in gasps, his face red, his hands shaking, not from fever now, from running, from fear, from being alive when everything wants you dead. The serum, he says between breaths, think it's real? Was real? When she wrote it, but now is anyone's guess. We're going anyway. They rest. 5 minutes, 10, not long. Never long. The world doesn't allow long, doesn't allow rest, doesn't allow anything but moving, but trying, but bleeding out slowly instead of fast. Merlyn checks her rifle, clears the bolt, checks again. 4 rounds left after the store lock, after the cave dogs, after Dr. Miller. 4 rounds that need to last, need to count, need to be everything when everything is needed. Ed opens an MRE, the food brown, gray, colors that mean nutrition, that mean calories, that mean not starving, not today. The small victories, the tiny triumphs, they eat, mechanical. The food tasteless, everything tasteless. The apocalypse taking flavor with everything else. Taking joy, taking the small things that made eating more than refueling, made living more than not dying. North Merlyn says, follow the coordinates, find the lab, find the serum, or don't. Keep moving regardless, and if we find it. If the serum is there, what then? Then we have options. Options aren't a plan. Plans aren't survival. Survival is adaptation, is moving, is trying. Plans are for people with time. We don't have time. We have now. Just now. Always just now. Ed nods, understands. The philosophy of the apocalypse, the wisdom of the dying world, nothing matters except this moment. This step, this breath, the next moment will bring its own problems, its own solutions, its own impossibilities. They walk. North. Following numbers, following a dead woman's hope, following anything that might mean something, that might change something, that might make the walking worth it. The landscape changes. Subtle. Trees denser, hills steeper. The lab in the mountains, in the hidden places where scientists go to work, to think, to try saving the world before it ends. before it forgets them, before it becomes this. White, gray, silent, dead. A building appears, low, concrete, hidden in a valley, windows dark, doors closed, snow covering everything, making it almost invisible, almost forgotten, almost gone. The lab, Dr. Miller's other place, her last place, her final attempt before the bunker, before the isolation, before the pages that stay blank. They approach, careful, watching, listening, no moaning, no movement, just the building, just the promise, just the maybe. The door is locked, of course, everything locked, everything sealed, everything protected from a world that ended anyway. That ignored protection, that came through walls and doors and locks like water, like time, like the inevitable. Merlyn tries the handle, tries forcing it, nothing. The lock solid, the door committed to staying closed. Window, Ed says, points, second floor, broken, boards across it, but not sealed, not perfect, an opening, an entry, a chance. They find a way up. Fire escape, rusted, questionable. Ed tests it, the metal groans, holds, he climbs, Merlyn follows, her rifle catching on the railing. Her pack too heavy, everything too heavy, always too heavy. The window board prees off easy, too easy. Someone did this before. Someone opened this, someone entered, maybe left, maybe stayed, maybe became something else. Inside is darkness. Merlyn goes first, flashlight cutting the dark, showing desks, computers, papers, all the trappings of science, of trying, of thinking the answer was in the work. In the research, in the learning, it wasn't. The answer wasn't anywhere. The answer was, there is no answer. There is only continuation or cessation, only now or not, only breathing or stopping breathing. Ed climbs in, his bat ready, his eyes adjusting, seeing the office, seeing the emptiness, seeing the evidence of absence. Lab must be downstairs, Merlyn says, ground floor or lower, where the real work happens, where the dangerous things get studied, where the world ended in the first place, in places like this, in rooms with smart people trying hard, trying to help, trying to cure, creating instead catastrophe, creating instead the gone ones, creating instead ending. They move through the office to the stairs, down into deeper darkness. The flashlight showing the way, showing the door at the bottom, showing the lock. Electronic. Dead. No power. Ed examines it, pulls out his multi-tool, prees open the panel, wires inside. Circuit board, battery backup dead, everything dead. He crosses wires, touches contacts, hoping, trying. The door clicks, opens, the lock giving up. The security surrendering, everything surrendering eventually. The lab smells like chemicals and time, like sealed things, like preserved things, like death's cousin, death's colleague, death's apprentice learning the trade. Shelves line the walls, vials, tubes, samples, everything labeled, everything organized. The mind of science, the process of understanding, the attempt at meaning. Merlyn reads labels, looking for the serum, looking for Dr. Miller's last hope, her final attempt, her legacy. Here Ed calls, a refrigerator, still sealed. Still cold somehow, backup systems, old batteries, something working when nothing else does. Inside are vials, 6 of them. Clear liquid, labels attached, Dr. Miller's handwriting, experimental serum, batch 7. Do not administer without proper testing, do not trust without verification, do not hope without caution, but do not surrender without trying. The scientist's voice, clinical, careful but wanting, but hoping, but being human under the process, under the method, under the attempt at objectivity. Ed takes the vials, careful, gentle, 6 chances, 6 possibilities, 6 maybes. A sound stops them, not from upstairs, from deeper, from below the lab, from somewhere the building goes down. Somewhere there's more. More building, more rooms, more darkness, moaning, close, immediate. Here. They turn, the flashlight finding movement, finding shape, finding the gone one that was Dr. Elizabeth Miller. Her lab coat stained, her face gone, her hands reaching, her body remembering the building, the lab, the work. But not the reason, not the purpose, not the why, just the hunger, just the want, just the need that never ends. She moves toward them, slow, the cold making her slower, the chemicals in the air making her confused, but coming, always coming. The hunger patient, the hunger sure. Merlyn raises the rifle. Ames, the scientist in the sights, the woman who tried, who learned, who wrote, who became pages, who became moaning, who became this thing that used to be trying, that used to be learning, that used to be hope. The shot echoes, the scientist drops, the woman stops, the gone one ceases, the brainstem severed, the weakness exploited, the lesson learned, the teacher finally grading her own work, passing, failing, both, neither. They stand in silence, the smoke from the shot hanging, the smell of cordite mixing with chemicals, with rot, with everything the lab became, everything the world became, everything they became. 4 rounds left. Ed holds the vials, the serum, the maybe, the hope wrapped in glass, in liquid, in chemicals that might help, might hurt, might change nothing, might change everything. We go, Merlyn says, now, before more come, before the shot calls them, before the building becomes tomb. They leave, climbing back up, through the office, through the window, down the fire escape, into the snow, into the cold, into the world that keeps taking, that keeps wanting, that keeps being winter, being gray, being ending. But the serum is in Ed's pack. 6 vials, 6 chances, 6 ways to try, 6 ways to fail, 6 ways to learn, 6 ways to become pages, to become story, to become something that matters or doesn't, or just is. They walk north, always north, toward the outpost, toward Station 117, toward the coordinates, toward the promise, toward the maybe, toward the everything that might be nothing, toward the nothing that might be something. Behind them, the lab sinks into snow, into forgetting, into being buried, being lost. Being one more place where someone tried, someone failed, someone stopped, but the vials remain in Ed's pack, against his back, cold, waiting. Chapter 10, Crossroads of Fate. The river appears like a scar across white skin, frozen, flat. The ice thick in places, thin in others, no way to tell which is which until weight decides, until gravity teaches, until someone learns the hard way about trust, about surfaces, about believing what you see. The map shows the river, shows the crossing, shows the way continuing on the other side. The coordinates point across, through, over. No other way, no detour, no choice but ice, but faith, but stepping onto something that might hold, might break, might become ending. Ed stares at it, the frozen surface, the white expanse, the unknown depth below. His hands grip the bat tighter, not from cold, from knowledge, from understanding that water doesn't forget, doesn't forgive, just waits under the ice for mistakes, for weight, for the moment when solid becomes liquid, when crossing becomes drowning, when trying becomes dying. How deep, he says, don't know. How thick, don't know that either. So we just go. We go, or we turn back. He looks behind them, the way they came, the miles, the days, the everything they crossed to get here, the gone ones, the dogs, the fever, the lab, all of it leading here. To this river, to this choice, to this moment. Can't turn back, he says. Can't. They step onto the ice, Merlyn first, testing, her weight distributed, her movements slow, the ice holds, accepts her, allows her presence for now. Ed follows, 5 feet behind, the distance intentional. If one breaks through, if the ice chooses, at least the other has a chance, has distance, has time to not follow, to not join, to survive the loss. The ice creaks, not breaking, just speaking, just announcing the weight, the pressure, the stress of holding things that want to sink, want to drop, want to fall. They move across, slow, careful, each step a negotiation, each moment a contract between solid and person, between surface and trust, between now and what comes after. Halfway across, Ed stops, points. The bank, the far bank, movement there, shapes emerging from the trees, low, hunched, multiple shapes, multiple bodies, multiple wants, gone ones, 6 of them, maybe 7. Standing at the shore, watching, waiting. They don't step on the ice, don't try crossing. Something stops them, some instinct, some memory in the ruined brain that says water is danger, ice is trap, crossing is mistake. But they wait, patient, so patient. The dead have time, have forever, have nothing but waiting. Other side is blocked, Ed says. Not blocked. Occupied. What's the difference? Blocked means impossible. Occupied means difficult. They keep moving toward the gone ones. toward the shore, toward the 7 shapes that want them, that hunger for them, that wait with the patience of stones, of stars, of things that measure time in eons instead of heartbeats. The ice groans, louder now, the sound deep, fundamental, the sound of structure under stress, of limits approaching, of breaking waiting to happen. Merlyn stops, holds up her hand. Ed freezes behind her, his breath loud, his fear visible in the white clouds that escape his lips, escape his lungs, escape his control. Under her feet the ice is different, darker, clearer, less snow covering it, less opacity protecting it. She can see through, can see down, can see the water moving beneath, black, cold, absolute. She steps sideways, tests the ice to the left, solid, opaque, safer maybe. She moves that direction. Ed follows, adjusting, adapting, learning the language of ice, the dialect of danger. The gone ones on shore shuffle, agitated, their prey moving away, moving parallel instead of toward. The hunting instinct frustrated, the hunger confused. They moan, the sound carrying across the frozen river, across the white expanse, across the space between wanting and having. More shapes appear behind the first group, 3 more, then 2 more, then more. The moaning calling them, the sound announcing food, announcing life, announcing the living crossing their territory, their hunting ground, their kingdom of patience. 12 gone ones now. Maybe 15. Hard to count when they overlap, when they cluster, when they become mass instead of individuals, when they become horde. Ed's hand finds Merlyn's shoulder, grips his fingers tight, his fear transmitted through touch, through pressure, through the universal language of oh God, oh God, oh God. We can't fight that many, he whispers. Won't have to. They won't cross. How do you know? I don't, but they haven't yet. Yet is a dangerous word. Everything is dangerous. They keep moving, angling toward the shore, but downstream, away from the horde, away from the gathering, away from the 15 or 20 or however many gone ones that cluster and wait and want. The ice thins. Merlyn feels it, the subtle give, the flex, the surface responding to weight in ways that mean warning, mean caution, mean turn back before learning becomes drowning. She shifts direction again, back toward the center, back toward thicker ice, back toward safety, relative safety, the only kind left. Behind them on the shore they left, movement, not gone ones, something else, something faster, something that crosses ice, that doesn't fear it, that doesn't remember drowning. Dogs, 3 of them, different from the pack at the cave, bigger, meaner, more desperate. They step onto the ice, test it, accept it, begin crossing. Run, Merlyn says. Can't run on ice. Then move faster. They do, not running, but faster than caution allows, faster than safety suggests. The ice protesting, cracking, not breaking, not yet, but promising, threatening, announcing its limits, its breaking points, its end of patience. The dogs are faster, surer, their forelegs distributing weight better, their claws finding purchase, their hunger giving speed, giving motivation, giving everything the prey lacks. The far shore approaches, the horde waits. 15 gone ones, maybe 20 now. More arriving, following the moaning, following the announcement, following the dinner bell that never stops ringing, between the dogs and the gone ones, between the hunting and the hungering, between multiple endings and no escape. The crossroads of fate, the place where trying meets dying, where survival becomes chance, becomes luck, becomes prayer. Merlyn reaches shore, pulls herself up the bank, the ice behind her cracking, the surface showing its true face, its real intention, its willingness to break all along. Just waiting for the right moment, the right weight, the right fear. Ed scrambles up beside her, the dogs 20 feet back, 10 feet, 5. The gone ones move toward them, slow, so slow, but determined, but certain, but knowing that slow wins eventually, that patient always wins, that the living tire, the living fail, the living become the dead, always, eventually, forever. Merlyn raises her rifle, 4 rounds, 15 gone ones, 3 dogs, the math impossible, the calculation clear. Not enough, never was, never will be. She aims at the lead gone one, her finger on the trigger, then stops, counts the ones behind it, 15, 20, maybe more. One bullet won't matter, won't change anything, won't make difference enough. She lowers the rifle, 4 rounds, save them, make them count later, when counting matters. Ed swings at the first dog, connects, the animal yelps, falls on the ice, struggles, tries to rise, falls again, the ice beneath it dark, cracking. The dog's weight concentrated, the braking accelerating, it drops through, into the black water, into the cold, into the gone. 2 dogs left, smarter now, cautious, circling, learning from watching, learning from loss, learning to fear. The gone ones close the distance, 10 feet, 8, 6, their hands reaching, their mouths open, the moaning individual. Personal direct, Merlyn backs away, up the bank, into the trees, Ed beside her, the dogs following, the gone ones following. Everything following, everything hunting, everything wanting. The trees offer cover, offer confusion, offer the thing gone ones hate, offer obstacles, offer complexity, offer the maze that ruins their simple hunting, their direct approach, their single-minded wanting. Merlyn and Ed weave through the pines, the dogs behind, fast, faster than them, faster than fear allows, faster than exhausted legs can manage. The first dog leaps, Merlyn sidesteps, the animal crashes into a tree. Stunned, Ed brings the bat down once, twice. The dog stops moving. The second dog circles, cautious, learning. Ed faces it, fights left. The dog lunges right into Merlyn's knife, the blade finding throat, finding the vessel that matters. The dog collapsing, the hunt ending. The third dog retreats, wounded from earlier, limping. It disappears into the trees, choosing survival over hunger, choosing another day, another hunt, another chance. The gone ones still come, but scattered now. 3 from the left, 2 from the right, the others somewhere, lost in the trees, lost in the maze, lost in the confusion of forest and prey that doesn't run straight. That doesn't make hunting easy. That fights, that tries, that refuses to be easy. No bullets left for them. The rifle empty since Dr. Muller. Since the lab, since the last shot that mattered. Now just the knife, just the bat, just close work, just the blade and wood finding the weakness, the brain stem, the only spot that matters. She meets the first gone one, the blade finding the brain stem, the weakness, the only place that matters, the spot Dr. Muller documented, the knowledge preserved, the lesson learned. The gone one drops, stops, ceases, 2 more come, together. She can't stop both, can only choose, can only take one, can only hope Ed handles the other. He does, the bat swinging, the head caving, the gone one dropping, learning finally to stop, learning finally that wanting isn't enough, that hunger ends, that everything ends. The remaining gone ones come slow, 5, 6, maybe 7 more. The trees confuse them, slow them, make hunting hard, make catching harder, make everything work against them. But they come because that's what they do, what they are, what they've become. Just want, just need, just hunger given form, given body, given the patience of things that don't tire, don't quit, don't stop. Merlyn and Ed run again deeper into the trees, away from the river, away from the crossing, away from the choice made, the risk taken, the ice that held, that let them pass, that let them live, this time, this crossing, this moment. Behind them the moaning fades, distance growing, the gone ones losing their patience not enough, their persistence not sufficient, their wanting not translating to catching, not today, not this time, not yet. They run until the moaning is gone, until the sound is just memory, just echo, just the ghost of wanting. Then they stop, collapse, breathe, survive, continue. The small victory, the tiny triumph, the not dying that counts as living now. Ed laughs, no humor. Just sound, just noise, just the release of fear, the purging of terror, the acknowledgement that they're still here, still breathing, still being. We made it, he says. We made it across. The ice held, this time. They sit against trees, rest. Not long, never long, but enough to remember how, enough to pretend rest matters, enough to believe in pausing and stopping in the moment between running and running again. Ed checks his pack, the vial's still there, intact. 6 chances, 6 maybes. 6 ways to try something. Anything, everything. The serum that might matter, that might help, that might be nothing but liquid, but hope. but trying. Ahead somewhere the outpost waits. Station 117, the coordinates, the destination, the place the voice promises, the thing that might be real, might be lie, might be hope, might be ending, might be everything, might be nothing. But they go toward it anyway, because forward is all that's left, because back means the river, means the gone ones, means the dogs, means everything already survived, already escaped, already bleeding from. Forward might mean death, probably means death, almost certainly means death, but back definitely means death, means dying to things already beaten, already past, already survived. So forward, always forward, even when forward looks like dying, even when forward is just another word for ending, even when forward is the only word left, the only direction, the only choice. They stand, pick up their weapons, their packs, their hope, their trying, their stubborn refusal to stop, to lie down, to accept ending when breathing is still possible. When moving is still allowed, when forward still exists, they walk through trees, through snow, through the world that wants them gone, that tries so hard, that keeps trying, that never stops trying, but hasn't succeeded yet, hasn't won yet, hasn't ended them yet, and yet is a dangerous word, yet is a promise, yet is a threat, yet is everything and nothing, yet is the space between now and then, between breathing and stopping, between being and gone. They walk through yet into yet, toward Station 117, toward the settlement that might exist, toward the maybe, toward the promise, toward everything that probably isn't there, probably never was, probably died months ago if it ever lived at all, but probably isn't definitely, and definitely is all that matters. The only word that ends things, the only word that stops trying, the only word they refuse to speak, to think, to believe. So they walk through the trees, through the snow, through probably, through maybe, through yet, through all the words that mean keep going, mean keep trying, mean keep breathing, one foot, then another, then another. The only math that matters, the only equation worth solving, the only calculation that equals living. They walk, the forest watches, the snow falls, the world continues, they continue. For now. Chapter 11, Ghosts of the Past. The settlement spreads before them like a wound in the snow. Buildings lean against each other. Windows dark as empty sockets. The wind moves through broken doors and carries no sound of living things. Merlyn stops at the edge, her rifle up, Ed beside her with the bat resting on his shoulder. The wood scarred now from use, from learning. Nothing moves. They wait. The cold works into their bones, into the spaces between thought and action. A full minute passes. 2. The silence holds. We go slow, Merlyn says. Stay close. The first building is a store. Shelves tipped over, cans scattered across the floor. Most are empty, torn open, the metal edges sharp and desperate. Ed picks through them while Merlyn watches the street. He finds 3 cans of beans, one of peaches. The peaches make his mouth water. He tucks them into his pack. The next building yields nothing, nor the next. They move like shadows between shadows. The snow muffles their steps, makes ghosts of them both. In the 4th building, Merlyn stops, her hand raised. Ed freezes. She's looking at something on the floor, a photograph. She bends, picks it up. Her fingers shake, and it's not from the cold. Ed doesn't ask. He's learned when to be silent. The photo shows a woman and a girl. The girl may be 8. Dark hair, bright eyes, they're at a lake. Summer. The world still whole. Merlyn stares at it. Her face carved from stone, from old grief that never softens. Sophie, she says, my daughter. Ed feels the word land between them. Heavy as snow, as all the days since the world ended. This was her favorite place. We came here every summer. Before. She folds the photo, tucks it into her jacket, close to her heart, close to where the cold can't reach. They keep moving. The settlement tells its story in small things. A bicycle on its side, rust blooming, a child's shoe. Just one. A door hanging open and the snow drifted inside, making everything soft, everything quiet. Merlyn finds a hunting knife. Good steel. She adds it to her belt. Ed finds a coat. Warmer than his. He swaps them out. In the last building, they find the guns, 2 rifles, a handgun, boxes of ammunition. Someone had been preparing. Someone had failed. Merlyn checks each weapon, methodical, her hands sure. She hands Ed the handgun. You know how to use this? Ed takes Ed's it. The weight unfamiliar. He nods. Point and pull. Merlyn almost smiles. Close enough. They're loading the ammunition when the moan starts. Low. Hungry. Coming from somewhere close. Ed's grip tightens on the bat. Merlyn brings the rifle up. The moan grows, joins with others, a chorus of want, of endless need. Time to go, Merlyn says. They move fast, out the back, through an alley where the snow is deep and their legs burn with the effort. The moans follow, growing louder, closer. Ed glances back, sees them, a dozen at least. Shambling through the settlement, their clothes frozen to their skin, their faces slack, empty. The snowmobile is where they left it. Merlyn starts it. The engine coughs, dies. She tries again. The dead are 30 yards away. 20. The engine catches, roars. They ride hard. The wind cuts like knives. Behind them, the settlement fades, the dead fade. But the photograph stays, pressed against Merlyn's heart, a ghost that won't let go. They don't speak. There's nothing to say. The world was and then it wasn't. The people you loved were and then they weren't. You carry them or you don't. You keep moving or you stop. Merlyn keeps moving. The snowmobile eats the distance. The fuel gauge drops. Ahead, the land stretches empty, white and gray and endless. Ed looks at Merlyn, her face set, her eyes on the horizon. He wonders what she sees there, what keeps her going. He doesn't ask. Some questions have no answers. Some grief has no bottom. They ride until the fuel runs low, until they find another place to hide. Another night to survive. The photograph stays where it is, close and quiet, a reminder, a weight, a reason. Chapter 12, The Weight of Guilt. The barn leans like a drunk against the wind, half the roof caved in, snow piled inside where the sky shows through. But 3 walls stand. A corner stays dry. It's enough. Merlyn kicks through the debris. Old hay, rotten wood, nothing living, nothing dead. She nods. We stay here tonight. Ed drops his pack, his shoulders ache, his hands are numb. He's tired in a way that sleep won't fix, in a way that's become normal. They gather what they can for a fire, scraps of wood, pieces of a broken stall. Merlyn makes it small, just enough for warmth. Too much smoke draws attention, the wrong kind. The fire catches, grows. The light pushes back the dark, but not far. Never far enough. They eat in silence, canned beans, cold, the metal taste mixing with hunger. Ed watches the flames, the way they move, the way they consume. Merlyn, he says. She looks at him. Waiting. I need to tell you something. She doesn't move, doesn't speak, just watches. Ed sets down his can. His hands shake. He clasps them together. Before I met you, before all this, I was with a group. 3 people. Good people. The fire pops. Spits. We were in a shelter, an old warehouse. We thought it was safe. Then they came. The dead. A lot of them. We tried to fight, but there were too many. His voice gets quieter, smaller. I ran. I took our supplies and I ran. I didn't help them, didn't try. I just left them to die. The words hang in the air, heavy as stones, as shame. Merlyn doesn't speak. Her face, nothing. Ed feels his throat tighten, his eyes sting. I'm a coward. I know that. I've always been a coward. And now they're gone and I'm here, and that's not fair. That's not right. He waits for her to say something, to get angry, to tell him to leave, to call him what he is. Merlyn looks at the fire, at her hands, at the dark beyond the barn walls. We've all left someone, she says. We've all run when we should have stayed. That's how you survive. You make the choice that lets you see tomorrow. But they didn't get tomorrow. They got me running away. Merlyn meets his eyes, her gaze steady. Hard. You want me to tell you it's okay? It's not. You want me to say you did the right thing? I don't know. I wasn't there. But you're here now, and yesterday you saved my life when Riley came at me, so maybe you're done running. Ed looks down, his hands still shaking, or maybe I'm just running in a different direction. Maybe, but we're running together now. So I guess we'll see. The fire burns lower. The cold creeps back in. Ed feels something loosen in his chest. Not forgiveness, not release, but something, a small thing, a start. They wrap themselves in what blankets they have. The barn creaks around them. The wind finds every gap, every crack. The world outside stays hostile, stays hungry. Ed closes his eyes, sees the faces of the people he left, their names like stones in his mouth. He won't forget them. Can't. But maybe he can carry them different. Maybe that's all anyone gets. Merlyn lies on her side, her rifle closed, her eyes open. She thinks about the photo in her jacket, about Sophie, about David, about the 1,000 small ways you fail the people you love, the ways that eat at you, the ways that never heal. She thinks about Ed, about trust, about how easy it is to break, how hard to build. The fire dies to embers, the dark wins again, it always does. But morning will come, it always does, and they'll keep moving, because stopping means the end, and they're not ready for that. Not yet. In the spaces between sleep and waking, Ed whispers something, too quiet for Merlyn to hear. Too quiet, maybe, for himself. But the words are there, in the dark, in the cold. I'm sorry, the barn doesn't answer, the night doesn't care. The world keeps turning on its broken axis, keeps pushing them toward whatever comes next. They sleep, they wake. They survive another day. That's all there is. That's everything. Chapter 13, Fuel for Survival. The snowmobile coughs its last breath in a valley between hills. The engine rattles, goes quiet. The silence rushes back in like water filling a hole. Merlyn tries the ignition. Nothing. She tries again, the same. Out of fuel, she says. Ed looks around. Snow everywhere. Hills like frozen waves. No buildings. No shelter. Just white and gray and the wind cutting through everything. How far to the next town? Merlyn pulls out the map. Studies it. Her finger traces a line. 10 miles. Maybe 12. They look at each other. The math is simple. Brutal. 12 miles in snow. In cold. With the dead somewhere behind them or ahead or both. We walk, Ed says. We walk. They take what they can carry, leave the rest. The snowmobile sits there in the snow like a tombstone, like everything else that used to work. The first mile is hard, the second harder. The snow comes to their knees, sometimes deeper. Each step costs, each step takes something you won't get back. Ed's legs burn, his lungs ache. The cold finds every gap in his clothes, every weakness in his body. He thinks about stopping, about sitting down just for a minute, just to rest. But Merlyn keeps moving, so he does too. The third mile brings wind, sharp as broken glass. It tears at their faces, makes their eyes water, makes breathing hurt. Merlyn stops, pulls out her compass, checks their direction, nods, keeps walking. Ed follows, one foot, then the other. The simple math of survival, of not stopping, of not giving up. On the fourth mile, they see it. A shape against the white, dark and angular. A building. Gas station, Merlyn says. They push harder. The cold forgotten, the pain forgotten, just the goal, just the promise of shelter. The station is old, abandoned, the windows cracked, the door hanging open, but the walls stand, the roof holds. They approach slow, weapons ready. Ed's bat up, Merlyn's rifle tracking the dark windows. Nothing moves. Inside smells of rust and rot and old oil. The shelves are mostly empty, stripped long ago. But in the back they find it, a storage room. Cases of motor oil, antifreeze, and in the corner 3 jerry cans. Merlyn lifts one, shakes it, liquid sloshes, gasoline. Ed grins, the first real smile in days. They check the others, all full, enough to get them far enough maybe. Merlyn sets them by the door. We'll come back for these. First, we clear the building. They move through the station, the bathroom, the office, an old storage closet. Nothing. No dead. No traps. Just emptiness and dust. Ed finds a box of granola bars, stale but edible. He finds a can of soda, frozen solid. He sets it by the space heater they'll never get working. Merlyn finds a coat, heavy, lined. She holds it up to Ed. Try this. It fits better than his old one. He feels the warmth immediately, the difference between life and less life. In the office, they find a working flashlight, batteries included. Merlyn clicks it on. The beam cuts through the dark. She clicks it off, saves it. We stay here tonight, she says. Rest. Head back tomorrow. Ed agrees. His body agrees. Every muscle, every bone. The exhaustion sits on him like weight, like gravity doubled. They eat the granola bars, drink melted snow, build a small fire in a metal trash can. The smoke finds cracks in the roof, escapes. The warmth stays. Night comes fast. The temperature drops. They huddle close to the fire, not touching but near, sharing heat, sharing space. Ed thinks about the snowmobile, about the 12 miles back, about carrying 3 jerry cans through the snow. It's doable, Merlyn says, reading his thoughts or his face. We go slow, we rest when we need to. What if they find us? Then we deal with it. Same as always. Ed nods. The answer is always the same. Keep moving, keep trying, keep surviving. He closes his eyes, feels the warmth of the fire, the cold at his back. The world balanced between the two. Merlyn stays awake, watching, always watching, the rifle across her lap. Her eyes on the darkness beyond the firelight. Out there, the world is ending, has ended, will end again tomorrow. But in here, in this moment, they have heat, they have fuel, they have each other. It's not much. It never is, but it's enough, for now. For tonight. That's all anyone gets. All anyone can ask for. One more night. One more chance. The fire burns, the dark presses close. Morning is hours away. They wait for it together. Chapter 14. Strangers in the Snow. The voice comes from behind a snowdrift, high and cracking. Human. Help. Please. Someone help. Merlyn and Ed freeze. They're halfway back to the snowmobile, the jerry cans heavy in their hands, sweat cooling on their skin despite the cold. Merlyn sets down her can, brings up the rifle. The voice calls again. Weaker now. Desperate. Please. They're coming. Ed looks at Merlyn. She shakes her head. We don't know them. They're asking for help. Everyone's asking for help. Doesn't mean we can give it, but she's already moving. Toward the voice. Toward whatever waits behind the drift. Ed follows. The bat ready. His heart loud in his ears. They round the drift and see them. 3 people. 2 men and a woman. The woman is on the ground. Her leg twisted wrong. One of the men is trying to lift her. The other stands watch, a pistol in his shaking hands. Behind them, the dead come. 6 of them, maybe more. Slow but steady. Inevitable. The standing man sees Merlyn and Ed. His eyes widen. Please. Help us. She can't walk. Merlyn doesn't lower the rifle. Who are you? Does it matter? They're coming. We need to go. Now. Ed moves forward. Merlyn grabs his arm. Wait. But Ed pulls free. He reaches the injured woman, helps the other man lift her. She cries out. The sound sharp, pained. The dead hear it. They move faster. Their moans rising. Merlyn curses, lowers the rifle, takes one of the woman's arms. Together they move, away from the dead, toward the snowmobile. The standing man covers the rear, his pistol barking. Once, twice. One of the dead drops. The others keep coming. They reach the snowmobile. The fuel cans where they left them. Merlyn grabs one. Ed grabs another. The standing man takes the third. The other man holds the woman. This won't carry all of us, Ed says. Then we walk beside it, Merlyn says. We take turns on it. We move fast. She pours fuel into the tank, her hands steady. Fast. The dead are closer now. 20 yards. 15. The engine starts on the first try. Merlyn guns it. The woman climbs on behind her. Merlyn looks at Ed. You ride, I'll run alongside. We switch every mile. The group moves, the snowmobile cutting a path, Ed and the 2 men following in its wake, the dead falling behind. Their moans fading. They keep the pace for an hour. Switch riders. Keep moving. The cold is forgotten. The exhaustion is background noise. There's only the movement, the distance growing between them and what follows. When they finally stop, it's in a clearing. Trees all around, no dead in sight. Everyone collapses, breathing hard. The woman whimpers, her legs swelling, darkening. The standing man offers his hand to Merlyn. Riley, he says, this is Jenna. That's Omar. Merlyn doesn't take his hand, just nods. Riley looks at the snowmobile, the fuel cans. The supplies, you're well stocked, we manage. Riley smiles, it doesn't reach his eyes. We could use people like you, resourceful, strong. We're not joiners, Merlyn says. Riley shrugs. Fair enough. But we stick together tonight. Safety in numbers. Tomorrow we can go our separate ways. Merlyn looks at Ed. He nods. What choice do they have? They make camp, build a fire. The woman, Jenna, she speaks little, just holds her leg and rocks. Omar is quiet, watching everything, saying nothing. Riley talks enough for all of them, about the cities, about the groups he's seen, the places that fell, the places that might still stand. Merlyn doesn't trust him. It's in the way he looks at their supplies, the way his hand stays near his gun, the way he smiles. Ed sees it too. He catches Merlyn's eye, nods toward Riley. She nods back. They'll take first watch, together. Riley seems to read the room, backs off, settles by the fire, says he'll sleep. But his eyes stay open, watching. Always watching. The night stretches long, the fire burns low. Somewhere in the dark, an animal calls, or maybe not an animal, maybe something that used to be. Merlyn keeps the rifle close, Ed keeps the bat closer. In the morning, they'll part ways, or they'll fight, or something worse. But that's morning, that's tomorrow. For now, they wait. They watch. They survive. The fire dies. The cold returns, the strangers sleep or pretend to. And in the spaces between breaths, Merlyn and Ed stay ready, for whatever comes, for whatever these strangers really want. Because in this world, you don't help people. You make deals, you take risks, you hope you're wrong about everyone, and you're almost never wrong. Chapter 15, Blood on the Ice. Morning comes gray and cold. The fire is ash. The strangers are awake, already moving. Too alert, too ready. Merlyn sees it first. The way Riley's hand rests on his pistol, the way Jenna's leg isn't as bad as she pretended, the way Omar positions himself behind Ed. She brings up the rifle. Smooth, fast. Riley freezes, his hands still on the gun. Don't, Merlyn says. Riley smiles, that same smile. Sad, he says. I liked you. I did, but we need what you have more than we need you. Ed turns, sees Omar. The older man has a knife, small but sharp. His hand shakes, but his eyes are hard. I don't want to do this, Omar says, but I will. Merlyn's finger finds the trigger. Riley's hand closes on his pistol. Time stretches, thins. Then Ed moves. The bat comes up, fast, catches Omar in the wrist. The knife falls. Omar cries out, stumbles back. Riley draws, Merlyn fires. The shot echoes across the clearing, across the empty world. Riley goes down, his pistol falling into the snow. Red spreads beneath him, staining the white, making it wrong. Jenna screams, runs, her leg fine, her terror real. She disappears into the trees. Gone. Omar clutches his wrist, stares at Riley, at the blood, at what just happened. Go, Merlyn says, her rifle on him. Just go. Omar goes, running, stumbling, following Jenna into the trees, into whatever comes next. Merlyn lowers the rifle, her hands steady, her face empty. She doesn't look at Riley, at what she did, what she had to do. Ed does. He stares at the body, at the red in the snow, at the way Riley's eyes are open, still, forever. We need to move, Merlyn says. Ed doesn't move, can't. The weight of it sits on him. The reality. Riley was alive, now he's not. And they did that, had to. But still. Ed, he looks at her. She's already gathering their things, already moving forward. Always forward. He follows. What else can he do? They leave Riley where he fell, leave the red in the snow. Leave the choice they made. The snowmobile starts. They ride. The trees blur past. The cold cuts deep, but they don't stop. Don't look back. Looking back is for people who have that luxury. They ride for hours until the fuel runs low again, until they're far from the clearing, far from what happened. When they stop, Ed finally speaks. You saved my life. Merlyn checks the fuel gauge, doesn't look at him. You saved mine first. When Riley went for his gun, you took down Omar, so we're even. It doesn't feel even. It never does. They make camp in a hollow. No fire tonight, too visible, too dangerous. They eat cold food, drink melted snow. The silence between them is heavy, full. Ed thinks about Riley, about the moment, about how fast it happened, how easy, how necessary and terrible all at once. Merlyn thinks about nothing, lets her mind go empty. It's a skill, one she's learned. You can't carry everything, can't hold every weight. Sometimes you just set it down, leave it behind. The night deepens, the stars come out, cold and distant. Uncaring. The world spins on without Riley, without Omar and Jenna, without all the others who came before. Ed lies on his back, watches the stars, wonders if his parents can see them, wherever they are, if they're anywhere. Merlyn sits against a tree, her rifle across her lap, her eyes on the dark, on the nothing that could become something. That probably will. In the distance, a sound. Might be wind, might be dead, might be nothing. They listen. It fades. Tomorrow they'll keep moving. They'll find the military checkpoint. They'll keep surviving. One day bleeding into the next. One choice leading to another. Each one harder than the last. But tonight they're alive. Both of them. Together. And that's something. Not much, but something. Ed closes his eyes, sees Riley's face. The surprise in it. The fear. The understanding that this was how it ended. He wonders if his face will look like that someday. When his moment comes, when the world finally catches up. Probably, most likely. He sleeps anyway. Because you have to, because morning always comes whether you're ready or not, and they're never ready, no one is, but they wake up anyway. They keep going, they do what needs doing. That's survival, that's all it is. All it's ever been. The stars turn, the earth turns. The cold settles deeper, and two people sleep in a hollow, dreaming or not dreaming, alive or just not gone yet. The difference gets smaller every day. Chapter 16. Fortress of Lies. The checkpoint rises from the snow like a promise. Concrete barriers, chain link fence, guard towers, all the architecture of safety, of order. Merlyn stops the snowmobile, studies it through the scope of her rifle. Looks abandoned, Ed says. It does. Too much. Nothing moves. No smoke from the buildings, no footprints in the snow except old ones. Filled in, forgotten. We check it out, Merlyn says. Careful, they approach on foot, leaving the snowmobile hidden in the trees. The cold follows them. Always the cold, always the hunger, the twin constants. The gates are open, that's the first sign. The second is the bodies. Not many, just 3, frozen where they fell. Months ago, maybe. Their uniforms stiff, their faces hidden beneath frost and time. Military, Ed says. Were. Inside the checkpoint, the buildings wait, silent. The doors close, the windows dark. Merlyn tries the first building. The door opens, the hinges scream. They wait. Nothing comes. They enter. The space is empty, desks overturned, papers scattered, computers dark. The power has been out forever, will stay out forever. Ed searches the desks, finds nothing useful, old forms, dead pens, a photograph of someone's family, all smiles, all gone now, probably. Merlyn moves to the next building. This one is locked. She forces it. The door gives with a crack. Inside is different. Clean, organized, too organized, supplies stacked neat. Canned goods, medical kits, ammunition, more than any abandoned checkpoint should have. This is wrong, Merlyn says. Ed sees it too, the trap of it, the too good nature. His hand tightens on the bat. A voice calls from outside. Friendly. Easy. You folks need help? Merlyn moves to the window, peers out, sees them. 5 men, wearing military gear, carrying rifles, walking toward the building like they own it, because they do. Raiders, she whispers. The voice calls again. We're the relief garrison, here to help survivors. Come on out. Let's get you somewhere warm. Ed looks at Merlyn. She shakes her head. We go out the back, quiet, fast. They move through the building. Finding the rear door, Merlyn opens it slow, checks outside. Clear. They slip out into the narrow space between buildings. The voices drift from the front, calling, searching, growing annoyed. The fence is 30 yards away. Beyond it, the trees. Safety, maybe, or just a different kind of danger. They run, not fast enough to make noise. Not slow enough to get caught. The perfect middle speed, the survival speed. Behind them a shout. They've been seen. Go, Merlyn says. They sprint. The fence is close, 20 yards, 10. A shot rings out, the bullet snaps past. Hits the fence, metal on metal. Ed reaches the fence first, finds a gap, tears it wider. Merlyn comes through. Another shot. This one closer, the raiders are running now. Closing distance, Merlyn turns, fires once, twice. One of the raiders drops. The others dive for cover, in the trees now, running. The snow deep, the branches grabbing, but they're alive, still moving. The raiders follow, slower, more careful. They're not desperate, they can take their time, they know the land, they know how this ends. Merlyn and Ed push deeper. The trees thicken, the light dims. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit. Ahead, nothing but more trees. More snow, more cold. They find a ravine, steep sides, a frozen stream at the bottom. Merlyn slides down, Ed follows. They run along the stream, the ice cracking under them. Holding. Barely. The sounds fade, the raiders losing them, for now, for a moment. They keep moving. Don't stop, can't stop, not until the distance is safe, not until the checkpoint is memory. An hour later they collapse, both breathing hard, both soaked in sweat that will freeze soon. That will make the cold worse, the danger worse. Ed pulls something from his pocket, a radio, small, military issue. He found it in the second building, grabbed it without thinking. He turns it on. He adjusts the dial, more static, then a voice, faint, broken, but human. Safe zone, coordinates. Dot all survivors. The voice gives numbers. Ed writes them in the snow with his finger. Merlyn memorizes them. The voice repeats, then cuts out, just static again. Ed looks at Merlyn. Another trap? Probably. Maybe. We won't know until we get there. And we're going? Merlyn stands, brushes snow from her pants. We're always going. What else is there? Ed nods. He stands too. They head back toward the snowmobile, toward the coordinates, toward whatever waits. Truth or lies, hope or horror. It doesn't matter. They'll find out. They always do. And then they'll survive it or they won't. Simple math. Binary outcome. The cold settles back in. The dark comes early. Another night, another gamble, another step into the unknown. Behind them, the checkpoint stands empty again. The raiders will leave eventually. Find new prey, new survivors to trap. The cycle continues. Predator and prey until there's no one left, until the world goes fully silent. But not yet. Not today. Today there's a radio signal, a set of coordinates, a possibility. They'll follow it, because following is all they have, all anyone has. Forward motion, the illusion of progress, the hope of something better somewhere ahead, even if it's just another fortress of lies. Chapter 17. The Long Night. The cabin finds them more than they find it. Emerging from the white like a gift, like curse. Its roof sagging under snow, its walls leaning inward as if tired, as if giving up. But it stands, that's enough. They force the door. The wood swollen, reluctant, inside smells of damp and rot and long silence, but no bodies, no dead. The emptiness is its own blessing. Merlyn checks the rooms. 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, a living area, all stripped, all abandoned, someone left in a hurry, or didn't leave at all. Just faded away like so many others. Ed finds a fireplace, gathers what wood he can, broken furniture, pieces of the cabin itself. You burn what you have to. The world doesn't care what something used to be. The fire catches, grows. The warmth is immediate, painful. Their bodies remembering what heat feels like, what it costs to be without it. They eat. The last of their canned goods, the food tastes like metal and salt and nothing, but it fills the space inside, the one that's always empty now. Has been since the world ended. Outside the wind rises, howling around the cabin, finding every crack, every gap. The temperature drops, not slowly, suddenly, the kind of cold that can end you if you're not careful. If you're not lucky, Ed feeds the fire, watching the flames, their shape, their movement, like dancers, like souls trying to escape their fuel. How much wood do we have? Merlyn asks. Enough for tonight. Maybe. Maybe isn't great. It's all we get. The wind grows teeth, grows claws. It tears at the cabin, at the roof, the walls. Something breaks loose outside, crashes, the sound absorbed by the storm. Blizzard. Merlyn says. Ed nods. He's seen them before, in the before time, when storms were inconvenient, not deadly, when you watched them from inside with hot chocolate, with family, with the power on and the fear absent. Now storms are just another way to die, another test you might fail. The hours crawl, the fire needs constant feeding, they take turns. One sleeps while the other watches, tends the flame, keeps the cold at bay. During Ed's watch he hears it, a scratching at the door, low, persistent, not the wind, something else. He wakes Merlyn. She listens, nods, brings up the rifle. The scratching continues, then a moan, low, hungry, unmistakable. They're out there, Ed whispers. In this storm? How? They don't feel the cold like we do. They just move. Just hunt. Forever. The scratching becomes pounding. The door shakes. The wood holds, for now. Merlyn aims at the door. Ed stands beside her. Bat ready. They wait. The pounding grows. Harder. Faster. The door frame creaks. The hinges strain, then silence. The pounding stops. The moaning fades. The storm fills the void. Just wind and snow and the fire crackling. Ed doesn't lower the bat. Merlyn keeps the rifle up. They wait. 1 minute. 5, 10. Nothing. Gone? Ed asks, or waiting. They take turns sleeping after that. Light sleep, broken sleep, the kind where you're always half awake, half ready. The storm rages, the cabin groans, the fire burns. Outside the world is erased, made new, made empty. When morning comes, everything will be white, clean, the tracks gone, the evidence of existence removed. It's almost peaceful, almost merciful. The way snow covers everything makes it all the same. The living and the gone, the past and the present, all buried beneath the same white weight. Ed dreams of before, of his apartment, his computer, his life that was small and safe and boring. He misses boring, misses safety, misses the luxury of complaining about traffic, about his boss, about things that didn't matter. Now everything matters, every choice, every moment. The weight of that is crushing, is exhausting, is the new normal. Merlyn doesn't dream, she's trained herself out of it. Dreams are just memories with teeth. Better to sleep blank, empty, to wake up without the weight of what was, without the faces of people who aren't coming back. Morning comes gray. The storm passed sometime in the night, left behind silence and 3 feet of new snow. The world remade, reset. Ed opens the door. The cold rushes in, steals the warmth. He looks outside, sees tracks in the snow, leading away from the cabin, zombie tracks, dragging, shambling. Gone now, but real. They were here. They left. No explanation, just another mystery in a world full of them. We're out of wood, Ed says. Merlyn joins him at the door, studies the landscape, the white, the emptiness. We push on. The coordinates aren't far, maybe 20 miles. In this snow, in any snow. We stay here, we freeze. We starve, we move, we have a chance. Ed nods. The math is always the same, always simple. Move or die. Those are the options. Have been since the beginning. They pack what little they have, the radio, the ammunition, the last empty cans. You don't leave anything. Even trash has value now. Can be repurposed, reused. Nothing is waste when everything is scarce. The snowmobile starts on the 3rd try. The engine coughs, complains, but catches. They ride slow. The new snow deep, treacherous. One wrong turn and they'll be stuck. Buried. Done. The landscape passes, white on white on white. No features, no landmarks, just endless sameness. Merlyn navigates by compass, by instinct, by the faith that moving forward is always better than standing still, even when it's not, even when forward leads to worse. At least you're moving. At least you tried. The hours blur. The cold becomes everything, becomes the only sensation, the only reality. Ed's face goes numb, his fingers too. He flexes them, keeps the circulation going. This keeps the frostbite at bay. Merlyn's eyes water from the wind, from the speed. She blinks away the tears. They freeze on her cheeks. Small crystals of salt and water and pain. Ahead something dark, a shape against the white. Buildings, maybe, or just rocks, or wishful thinking made solid. They push toward it. The shape grows, defines itself. Buildings, definitely buildings, a settlement, small, maybe a dozen structures. Merlyn slows, approaches careful, the same routine, the same caution every time, because the one time you're not careful is the time it kills you. The settlement is empty or appears to be. They check each building, quick, efficient, finding nothing. No supplies, no people, no dead, just emptiness. Just the ghosts of lives that moved on or ended. In the last building, they find the map, pinned to a wall, marking locations, safe zones, danger zones. The coordinates from the radio are marked. A star, a promise. 30 miles east, Merlyn says. 3 days in good weather, a week in this. We have food for 3 days, Ed says. Then we make it in 3. They take the map, leave the building, the settlement behind them. Another place that failed. Another attempt at survival that didn't survive. The snowmobile carries them east, toward the star on the map, toward whatever waits. They don't talk about hope. Don't name it. Hope is dangerous. Hope gets you killed. Better to just move. Just act. Just survive one moment at a time. The sun sets, they find no shelter. Make camp in the open, no fire, too exposed. They huddle together, sharing warmth, sharing the misery of cold that doesn't end, that never ends. The stars come out. Merlyn points to them, teaching Ed the constellations, the way her father taught her, the way his father taught him, knowledge passed down, kept alive, even when everything else dies. That's the North Star, she says, always there, always true. What good does that do us? Means we can always find our way, means we're never completely lost. Ed looks at the star, small, distant, cold. He doesn't feel less lost. But he nods anyway, takes the comfort where he can find it, in stars, in companionship, in the simple act of not being alone. The night deepens, the temperature drops further, they sleep in shifts, always one awake, always watching. The world doesn't rest, doesn't give you break. You stay sharp or you stop being, and they're not ready to stop. Not yet. Not while there's stars to follow, coordinates to reach, one more day to survive. The long night passes, morning will come, it always does. They'll wake cold, hungry, tired, but alive, still moving. That's the victory, small, insignificant, but real. One more day, one more chance. The stars wheel overhead, indifferent, eternal, watching or not watching, caring or not caring, just burning, just being, just like everything else that survives. Chapter 18 whispers in the dark. The lab hides itself well, built into a hillside, covered in snow and time and the world's forgetting. They almost miss it. Would have except for the vent. Metal. Rusted. Breathing steam into the frozen air. Something's running down there, Ed says. Generator, maybe. On automatic. Running forever for no one. They find the entrance. A door set into the hill. Concrete frame. Steel reinforcement. The kind of door that says important. That says secret. That says stay out. Merlyn tries the handle. Locked. She steps back. Considers shooting the lock. Wait, Ed says. He pulls out his multi-tool. Works at the mechanism. His hands steady despite the cold. Despite the fear of what might be inside, the lock clicks, the door opens, air rushes out, stale, old, but warm, warmer than outside. The generator is keeping heat in, keeping the dark at bay. They enter. The door closes behind them, the sound final, heavy, the kind that makes you wonder if it opens from inside. Lights flicker on, motion sensors, still working after all this time. The hallway stretches ahead, white walls, white floor, white ceiling, everything clean, sterile, wrong. Merlyn leads. Rifle up, Ed follows, bat ready, his heart loud, his breathing louder. The first room is an office, papers scattered, a computer dark, a coffee cup on the desk, still half full, the liquid long since turned to mold, to something else. The nameplate reads Dr. Elizabeth Miller, virologist. Ed picks up a journal, leather bound. Expensive. He flips through the pages. Neat handwriting, dated entries. The early ones clinical, professional. The later ones less so. Desperate. Afraid. Merlyn reads over his shoulder. The entries talk about the virus, about transmission, about brainstem degradation, about how the dead don't die. Not really, just change. Become something else. Something hungry. The last entries are erratic, the handwriting shaky. Dr. Miller knew she was infected, knew she was running out of time. She documented her symptoms, her decline, right up until the writing stops. Where is she? Ed asks. Merlyn points to the next room. The door is closed. A red light above it. Quarantine. They approach. Merlyn tries the door. It opens. The red light meaningless now. All the protocols dead with the world. Inside is a lab, proper, equipment everywhere. Microscopes, centrifuges, freezers humming, still running, still preserving whatever's inside, and in the corner is Dr. Muller, or was. She sits in a chair, strapped in, her head hanging, her skin gray, her clothes stained. She's been gone a long time, but not gone enough. As they enter, she moves. Her head lifts, her eyes open, milky, dead, hungry. She strains against the straps, her mouth opening, closing, the moan building in her throat. Merlyn raises the rifle, hesitates. This was a person, a scientist, someone trying to help, trying to understand. Ed sees the hesitation, steps forward. The bat rises, falls. The sound is wet, final. Dr. Miller stops moving, stops being. Whatever she was becomes just matter, just biology without purpose. I'm sorry, Ed says. To the body, to the room, to whatever ghost might be listening. They search the lab, find vials in the freezer, 6 of them, clear liquid, carefully labeled, experimental serum for treatment of infection, do not use without proper dosing protocol. Ed holds one up, looks at Merlyn. You think it works? Only one way to find out, but not here. Not now. We take them, we go. They gather the vials, wrap them careful, pack them safe, the journals too. All of Dr. Miller's research, her last attempt at redemption, at meaning, at making the end less terrible. They move back to the entrance, to the door that might not open, but it does. The sensor's still working, the system's still trying to be helpful, to be human. Outside, the cold rushes back, the world unchanged, the lab behind them like a tomb, like a temple, like every other place where people tried and failed and left behind only echoes. The snowmobile waits. They ride, the vials safe in Merlyn's pack, the hope heavy, the doubt heavier. Because maybe the serum works. Maybe it saves lives. Maybe it makes things worse. Maybe it's just another way to fail. They won't know until they need it, until someone gets bit, gets infected, gets the chance to try or the sentence to die. That's how it always works. Potential and consequence, possibility and price. The coordinates are closer now. 2 days maybe. If the weather holds, if nothing goes wrong, if all the ifs align into something like luck. Behind them, the lab disappears into the landscape, into the white, into the forgetting. Dr. Miller's work preserved in frozen vials, in stolen journals, in the memory of 2 people who never knew her, who ended her, who carry her forward. It's not nothing, it's not enough, but it's what the world gives, what the world takes, the endless exchange, the balance that never balances. They ride into the coming dark, into tomorrow, into whatever waits at the star on the map, the serum in the pack, the hope in the silence, the fear in every heartbeat. The whispers in the dark are always the same. Keep moving, keep trying, keep surviving, even when you don't know why, even when the reason died a long time ago. You just do, because the alternative is not doing, and not doing is the end, and the end can wait. One more day, one more mile, one more heartbeat. It has to. Chapter 19, Cure or Curse. The vials rest in Merlyn's pack, 6 of them, clear liquid. Dr. Miller's last attempt at meaning, at redemption, at making the end less terrible. They ride east, toward the coordinates. Toward the star on the map. The cold follows. Always the cold, always the hunger, the twin constants that define every moment, every breath. Ed thinks about the serum, about what it means, about the weight of possibility carried in glass, in liquid, in hope that might be poison. You think it works? He asks. Merlyn doesn't answer right away. Her eyes stay on the horizon, on the endless white. When she speaks, her voice is measured, careful. Dr. Miller thought it might. Thought enough to document it, to preserve it, to strap herself down and wait for the end while the freezers kept running. Kept her work alive even after she wasn't. That's not an answer. It's the only answer there is. We won't know until we need it. Until someone gets bit, gets infected, gets the choice between trying and dying for certain. Ed shifts on the snowmobile, his hands cold, his fear colder. What if it makes things worse? Then we live with that, same as everything else. The landscape passes, white on white on white. No features, no landmarks, just the compass pointing true, just the faith that moving forward matters, that destination is more than illusion. They pass the place where they tied the zombie. 2 days ago. 3. Time blurs in the cold, in the sameness. The zombie is gone. Wire cut, tracks leading away. Someone found it, or it freed itself. Either option is troubling. Merlyn slows, studies the tracks, the wire, the disturbance in the snow. Someone else is out here, someone watching maybe, someone waiting. We keep moving, she says, fast. They push the snowmobile harder. The engine complains. The fuel gauge drops. But speed is survival now. Distance is safety. Maybe. Hours pass, the sun drops, the cold intensifies, the kind that makes bones ache, makes thinking slow, makes mistakes easy. Ahead a shape, dark against white. Buildings, a town maybe, or what used to be a town. What tried to be a town when trying mattered. They approach careful, always careful. The buildings are few, maybe a dozen, small, rural. The kind of place that died slow even before the world ended. Now it's just dead, just empty. Just another marker of what was. They search the buildings. Find little. Some canned goods, rusted, old. They take them anyway. Find a blanket, moth-eaten, smelling of mold. They take that too. You take everything. Even trash has value. Even rot can be useful. In the last building, they find the body. Fresh, recent. A man, maybe 40, frozen where he fell, his throat torn, his face locked in surprise. In the moment of understanding, that comes too late. Merlyn checks him. No weapons, no supplies, just a body, just proof that others are out here, dying out here, becoming part of the white, part of the forgetting. Ed searches his pockets, finds a note, handwritten, shaking letters, desperate words. It reads, "The coordinates are a lie. They'll take everything. Don't trust the signal. Don't trust anyone." Ed shows Merlyn. She reads it. Her face unchanged, her eyes hard. Could be true, could be paranoia, could be someone trying to keep others away from something good. No way to know. So we keep going? We keep going. They leave the building, leave the body, leave the warning. What choice do they have? Turn back to what? Stay here and freeze? The coordinates are all they have. The only direction that isn't backward, isn't nowhere. Night comes fast. They make camp in one of the buildings. No fire, too risky, too visible. They huddle in blankets, in their shared warmth, in the simple fact of not being alone. Ed pulls out the journal. Dr. Miller's notes, reads by flashlight. The beam weak, the batteries dying, everything dying, always dying. The entries detail her work, her hope, her growing desperation. She believed the serum could delay infection, give the body time to fight, time to survive. But the notes are unclear, incomplete, the dosage uncertain, the side effects unknown. Just theories, just guesses, just hope dressed up as science. Near the end, she writes about mutations, about what happens if the serum is used wrong, used too much, used on subjects already too far gone. The words are frantic, scratched, some crossed out, some illegible. Ed reads one passage aloud, his voice quiet in the dark. Repeated exposure causes cellular destabilization. The subjects become other. Neither living nor dead, but something between, something worse, faster, smarter, more dangerous if this reaches the general population, if it spreads. God help us all. The entry ends there. No more notes, just blank pages. Just the silence of someone who ran out of time, ran out of hope, ran out of everything. Merlyn stares at the wall, at the dark, at nothing. So it's a risk. Everything's a risk. This might be worse than the disease, might be, might save lives, won't know until we try. And if we try and it makes things worse, if we create something we can't stop, Merlyn looks at him, her eyes reflecting the flashlight, small stars in the dark, then we deal with it, same as always. We adapt, we survive, or we don't. But at least we tried. At least we didn't just give up and wait to die. Ed closes the journal, sets it down, his hands shake. From cold, from fear, from the weight of carrying something that could be salvation or apocalypse. The difference measured in dosage, in timing, in luck. They sleep in shifts, always one awake, always watching. The night passes slow, heavy, the kind that makes you wonder if morning will come, if it matters, if it does. When dawn breaks, it's gray, colorless, the world washed clean of warmth, of comfort, of anything soft. They pack. They ride. The coordinates are close now, maybe 10 miles, maybe less. The fuel will get them there. Barely. Just enough. It always is. Ed thinks about the note, about the warning, about trust and lies, and the impossibility of knowing which is which, about how the serum is the same, a maybe, a gamble, a choice you make because not choosing is also a choice. Also a death. Merlyn thinks about Sophie, about David, about whether the serum could have saved them, if there had been time, if there had been knowledge, if there had been anything but chaos and loss and the simple, brutal fact of ending, she'll never know. That's the curse, the weight, the thing that follows her through every day, every mile, every heartbeat. They ride toward the coordinates, toward the star on the map, toward whatever waits, truth or lies, hope or horror. The serum in the pack, the journals in the bag, the weight of possibility carried forward, into the cold, into the unknown, into whatever comes next. Because what else is there? What else has there ever been? Just movement. Just the next mile. Just the stubborn refusal to stop. To give up. To accept that this is how it ends. Not yet. Not today. Not while there's fuel in the tank. Not while there's breath in the lungs. Not while there's one more chance. One more maybe. 1 more mile to go. The snowmobile cuts through the white. The engine steady. The path uncertain. The destination a promise or a trap. They'll find out soon. They always do. And then they'll make the next choice. Face the next trial. Survive the next day until they can't. Until the world finally wins. Finally claims what it's been chasing since the beginning. But not yet. Not today. Today they ride. They hope. They carry the serum forward. The cure or curse. The maybe that defines everything. The weight they can't put down. Won't put down. Not while there's still road ahead. Still horizon to chase. Still something resembling a reason to keep moving. The cold doesn't care. The world doesn't notice. But they move anyway. Through it. Past it. Beyond it. 2 people against everything. Against the odds. Against the inevitable. Moving because stopping is death. Because hope is all that's left. Because the serum might work. Might save someone. Might matter. Might. That's all anyone gets. All anyone can ask for. The maybe. The chance. The possibility of something better somewhere ahead. Even if it's just another fortress of lies. Chapter 20. Hord's Relentless March. The church stands alone on a hill. White paint peeling. Cross on the steeple leaning. But the walls are stone. Solid. The doors are thick wood. Heavy. It's not sanctuary. Not really. But it's something. And something is always better than nothing. They reach it at dusk. The coordinates are close now. Maybe 5 miles. Maybe less. But the Horde is closer. They heard it an hour ago. The moaning, the shuffling, the sound of many becoming one. Becoming inevitable. Merlyn tries the church door. Locked. She shoots the lock. The sound echoes, carries. Behind them the moaning grows louder. They hear us, Ed says. They'll hear us regardless. Get inside. The door opens. They enter. Pull it shut. Find the bar. Drop it into place. The church is cold, empty. Pews knocked over. Hymnals scattered. The altar bare. God left a long time ago. Or was never here. Hard to tell the difference anymore. They check the space. 1 main room. A back room for robes, supplies, a basement. Ed finds the door. Opens it. Stairs lead down into darkness, into the beneath. We barricade here, Merlyn says. Use the pews. Make it strong. They come. We fight them in the doorway. Narrow space. Can't flank us. How many you think there are? More than we can handle. Merlyn's voice is flat, matter of fact, not scared. Just stating truth. They work fast. Dragging pews, stacking them against the door, against the windows, making walls within walls, making the space smaller, tighter, defensible. The moaning reaches the hill, grows, multiplies. The sound of dozens, maybe more, the sound of hunger that never sleeps, never stops, never forgives. Ed climbs the stairs to the steeple, looks out the narrow window, sees them. 40 at least, maybe 50, shambling up the hill, arms reaching, mouths open, eyes dead, all of them coming, all of them hungry. He climbs down, tells Merlyn, she nods, checks her rifle, 2 magazines, 40 rounds. The handgun, another 15, not enough, never enough. Ed has the bat, the knife he took from the settlement, his fear, always his fear, but also something else now. Resolve maybe, or just the acceptance that this is how it is, how it's always been. You fight or you die. Those are the options, always have been. The first zombie reaches the door, pounds. The wood shakes, holds, another joins, then 3, then 10. The sound is thunder, is drums, is the end, knocking politely before it breaks everything down. Merlyn aims through a crack in the barricade, fires. The shot drops one. The others don't notice, don't care. Just keep pushing, keep pounding, keep coming. She fires again, again. Each shot counts. Each one matters. But there are too many. And bullets run out. They always run out. The vials are in her pack. The serum, the maybe. Ed looks at them, looks at her. His eyes asking the question his mouth won't form. Not yet, Merlyn says. We don't know what it does to them, don't know if it helps or makes them worse. We save it, for when we need it, for when someone gets bit. What if we don't survive to need it? Then it doesn't matter anyway. The logic is sound, cold, true. Ed nods, grips the bat tighter, watches the door bow inward, watches the barricade shift, watches the end approach with methodical certainty. Merlyn fires until the rifle clicks empty, switches to the handgun, keeps firing. The zombies at the door start to fall, their heads ruined, their bodies piling, creating their own barricade, their own wall of the fallen. But more come. Always more. Climbing over their dead, using them as ladders, as stepping stones. The pile grows, the door cracks, the wood splinters. We need another way out, Ed says. The basement has a window. Small, high up, maybe big enough. They grab their packs. The serum safe inside, the journals, the supplies, everything that matters, everything they've carried this far. Down the stairs, into the dark. The basement is stone, cold, empty except for old boxes, Christmas decorations, Easter lilies made of plastic, the remnants of faith, of community, of a world that believed in resurrection. The window is there, small, covered in grime. Ed breaks it with the bat. The glass falls outward into snow, into the night growing around them. Above the sound of wood giving way, of pews crashing, of the horde pouring into the church, filling it, making it theirs, making everything theirs, always and forever theirs. Merlyn boosts Ed up. He squirms through, barely fits, drops into snow on the other side, reaches back, pulls Merlyn up. She passes the packs through, then climbs, her rifle scraping the frame, her body tight in the narrow space. But she makes it. They both make it. Behind them, the basement door crashes open. The moaning pours down, filling the space, filling everything. But they're already running, through the snow, down the hill, away from the church, away from the horde, away from death by inches and teeth and endless hunger. They run until their lungs burn, until their legs give out, until the church is small behind them, distant. The moaning fading, gone. They collapse in the snow. Both breathing hard, both alive. Still moving. Ed laughs. The sound breaking, cracking. Not joy, just release. Just the absurdity of it, of surviving when you shouldn't, when the math says you can't, when everything says you're done. Merlyn doesn't laugh, just breathes, just exists, just counts her heartbeats and knows each one is borrowed, stolen, unlikely. The serum is still in her pack. All 6 vials, intact, unused, waiting for the moment, for the need, for the choice that will define everything. That moment will come, soon maybe, tomorrow, the next day, when someone gets bit, gets infected, gets the terrible gift of choosing between certain death and possible salvation, possible horror, but not tonight. Tonight they survived, both of them, together. That's enough, that's everything. They rest. They gather themselves, they check the map, the coordinates are close, 3 miles, maybe 4. They can walk it, in the morning, when the sun makes the cold bearable, when the night releases its grip. For now they find shelter, a hollow in the rocks, a space barely big enough for 2. They huddle close, not touching but near, sharing warmth, sharing space, sharing the simple fact of not being alone. Ed thinks about the horde, about how close it was, about how the serum stayed in the pack, unused, untested, still just theory, still just hope. Merlyn thinks about tomorrow, about the coordinates, about what waits there, truth or lies, safety or trap, the unknown stretching ahead like always, like everything. The stars come out, cold, distant, eternal, watching or not watching, caring or not caring, just burning, just being, just like them. They sleep in shifts, one watching, one resting. The night passes slow, Heavy, full of small sounds, wind, snow falling, their breathing, the world continuing despite everything, despite the end, despite the hopelessness of it all. Morning will come, it always does. They'll walk to the coordinates, they'll find out what's there, they'll face whatever comes next, with the serum in the pack, with 6 vials of maybe, with hope that might be poison, with the choice still unmade, still waiting. That's survival, that's all it is. Carrying the weight forward into tomorrow, into the next mile, into the next moment. Until you can't, until the world catches up, until the math finally balances, but not yet. Not tonight, not while there's stars overhead, not while there's breath in their lungs, not while there's 3 more miles to go. 3 more chances, 3 more heartbeats between here and there. The cold settles deeper, the dark holds. The 2 survivors sleep or don't sleep. Dream or don't dream, alive or just not gone yet. The difference gets smaller every day, but it's still there, still real, still enough. For now, for tonight, for one more dawn that hasn't come yet, that might not come, but probably will. Probably. That's all anyone gets, all anyone can ask for. The probably, the maybe, the chance that tomorrow exists, that it matters, that any of this matters. They carry it forward. The weight, the hope, the serum, the maybe, into whatever comes, into the coordinates, into the star on the map, into the end or the beginning or something between. Moving because stopping is death, because hope is all that's left, because the serum might work, might save someone, might matter. Might. The word echoes in the dark, in the cold, in the space between heartbeats, the only certainty left in an uncertain world. Might. It's enough. It has to be. There's nothing else. Never was, never will be. Just might. Just maybe. Just one more day to find out. The stars turn, the earth turns, the cold settles deeper, and 2 people wait for morning, for the next step, for the next choice, for whatever the coordinates hold. Soon, very soon, they'll know. They'll find out if the journey was worth it, if the survival mattered, if any of this leads somewhere, anywhere, something. But not yet. Not tonight. Tonight they rest, they wait, they survive. One more night, one more chance. One more heartbeat before the unknown becomes known, before the maybe becomes yes or no, before the choice arrives, inevitable, necessary, final, soon, but not yet. First they sleep, first they gather strength, first they face the dawn, then they walk, then they discover, then they choose. Always choosing, always moving, always surviving, until they can't. Until the story ends, until the maybe runs out, until there's no more road, no more horizon, no more dawn to chase. But that's not tonight. Tonight there's still tomorrow, still 3 miles, still 6 vials of hope, still a chance, still something, still everything. They sleep, they wake, they move, the cycle continues. The story goes on, the survivors survive, for now, for always. For as long as they can, as long as the world allows, as long as the maybe stays maybe, as long as there's one more step to take, one more breath to breathe, one more dawn to come, maybe, probably, soon. Chapter 21, Sacrifice's Heavy Toll. The vial feels cold in Merlyn's hand. Colder than the air, colder than the metal walls of this place they've barricaded themselves into. The church smells like rust and old prayers and something worse underneath. Ed watches her, his face is pale in the flashlight beam. The serum catches the light, clear as water, clear as lies. She thinks of Sophie, of David, of all the people who became something else, something that moans and reaches and remembers nothing of before. The Hord pounds at the doors, rhythmic, patient. They have all the time that ever was. We could wait them out, Ed says. She shakes her head. The fever's already started. She can feel it in her blood. A heat that doesn't belong. The scratch on her arm looks small. Just a line where a hand caught her as they fled. Caught her as they fled. Just a tear in the skin. Small things end you here. The serum might work, might delay it, might give her a few more hours or days or weeks. Dr. Miller's notes said as much, said it could slow the change if given early. But the notes also said other things, things about what happens after, about what the serum does to the meat and the mind. Ed reaches for the vial. Give it to me, he says. I'll do it. She pulls back, looks at him. His eyes are wet, but he doesn't look away. The doors shudder. Wood splinters. The bar across them bends, but holds. Merlyn uncaps the vial. The liquid has no smell. She wonders what Dr. Miller felt when she made this. If she knew it would come to this. If she hoped, or feared, or just observed with that clinical distance in her journals. She drinks it. Tastes like nothing. Like absence. For a moment, there's only the cold glass against her lips, and Ed's breathing, and the sound of the things outside trying to get in. Then the fire starts. It begins in her stomach, spreads up through her chest. She gasps, and Ed catches her as she falls. The flashlight rolls across the floor. Shadows leap and dance on the walls like the church is remembering something from before the world ended. The fever climbs. Her skin burns. Ed's saying something, but his voice comes from very far away. He's laying her down, covering her with his jacket. His hands shake as he checks her pulse. She wants to tell him it's okay, that this was always how it would be, that someone had to try the serum, and she was already scratched, so it might as well be her. But her teeth are chattering too hard to speak. The things outside keep pounding, keep reaching, keep trying to find a way through. Ed moves to the window, looks out through the gap in the boards. She watches him from the floor. He's crying now, not making sound, but his shoulders shake and his hands grip the baseball bat like it's the only real thing left. The fever peaks. Merlyn's vision blurs. She sees shapes that aren't there, hears voices. Sophie calling from another room, David asking if she's coming to bed, her mother teaching her to start a fire in the snow. All gone now. All ash and echo. Ed comes back, kneels beside her, takes her hand. Stay with me, he says. You stay with me. His voice is an anchor. She holds to it, holds to the warmth of his hand and the weight of his presence and the fact that he's still here. Still trying, still believing there's something worth holding on to. The fever breaks near dawn. The things outside have stopped pounding. Maybe they've wandered off. Maybe they're just waiting. She doesn't know and doesn't care. She opens her eyes. Ed is slumped against the wall beside her, asleep. The baseball bat across his lap. His face looks older in the gray light. She sits up slowly. Her body aches. The scratch on her arm is still there, but the flesh around it looks normal. No blackening, no rot. The serum worked or seemed to. For now. She touches Ed's shoulder and he jerks awake, grabs the bat, then sees her and his face breaks into something she hasn't seen in months. Relief, pure and simple. You're okay, he says. She nods. Tests her limbs. Everything works. Everything responds. The fever left her weak but alive, still human. Ed helps her stand. They move to the window together, look out at the gray morning. The Horde is gone. Tracks in the snow lead away in all directions, like they forgot what they were chasing, like the serum did something to her scent or her sound or whatever it is that calls them. We need to move, Merlyn says. Her voice is rough. While whatever this did is still working. Ed nods, gathers their things. They have 4 vials left, 4 chances, 4 desperate rolls of dice that might come up snake eyes. They leave the church through the back. The snow has started again. Soft and quiet, covering the tracks, covering everything. The scratch on her arm itches, deep down where she can't reach. She doesn't mention it to Ed, doesn't tell him that she can feel something else now, something that wasn't there before. A whisper at the edge of her mind, a pull toward the things that used to be people. She walks faster, puts distance between herself and that feeling, tells herself it's nothing. Just the fever's echo. Just her mind playing tricks after a night of fire and fear. But she knows what Dr. Miller found, knows what the notes said about the serum's other effects, the ones that came later, the ones that might be worse than the change itself. Ed catches up to her, walks beside her in the snow. He doesn't ask how she feels, doesn't press, just stays close, ready to catch her if she falls. The world stretches out before them, white and empty and cold. Somewhere ahead is the sanctuary. Somewhere behind are all the places they can't return to. She touches the vials in her pocket, counts them without looking. 4 left. 4 attempts at staying human. 4 ways to buy time against the inevitable. The scratch itches. She walks faster. Chapter 22. Fevered Visions. The hospital rises from the snow like a broken tooth. 3 stories of gray concrete and shattered windows. The sign out front is gone. Just rust marks where letters used to be. Ed stops at the tree line. Looks at Merlyn. She's sweating again. Her face is pale and her hands shake when she tries to hold the rifle steady. The serum's wearing off, or changing, or doing something Dr. Miller never wrote about in her neat clinical hand. We should rest, Ed says. Merlyn shakes her head. Need antibiotics. Need something to fight what's coming. The fever's gotten worse over the last 2 days. She hides it well, but Ed sees. Sees the way she stumbles, the way she stares at nothing, the way she sometimes whispers to people who aren't there. The hospital's front entrance is blocked. A delivery truck crashed through the doors and died there. Rust and snow cover everything. They circle around to the emergency bay. The doors hang open. Dark mouth waiting. Ed goes first. The baseball bat feels light in his hands now. He's gotten used to the weight. Used to the way it feels when it connects. Used to a lot of things he never thought he'd learn. Inside the air is still. Frozen. Their breath makes clouds. The emergency room is a mess of overturned gurneys and scattered papers and dark stains on the floor that the cold has preserved. Merlyn leans against a wall. Her eyes are closed. Ed touches her shoulder. She opens her eyes and for a second doesn't recognize him. Then focus returns. She nods, pushes off from the wall. They move through the corridors, looking for the pharmacy, looking for anything that might help. The hospital is a maze of identical halls and empty rooms and things they try not to look at too closely. In one room they find a body, fresh, maybe a week old. The cold has kept it from rotting. A man, middle-aged, a wound in his side that looks like teeth. He never turned, Merlyn says. Just died human. Ed doesn't understand. Everyone who gets bitten turns. That's the rule. That's how this works. Unless, Merlyn says, unless the serum changes something, changes how the virus moves, how it spreads. She's thinking out loud now, fever thoughts. Ed guides her away from the body, away from whatever implications she's chasing. They find stairs, go up. The second floor is darker, no windows, just fluorescent panels overhead that haven't worked in over a year. Ed's flashlight cuts a path through the black. Pharmacy should be on 3, he says. They climb. Each step is an effort for Merlyn now. She's breathing hard, leaning on the wall. Ed stays close, ready to catch her. On the 3rd floor they hear it, a moan, low and long, coming from somewhere ahead. Merlyn straightens, grips her rifle. The sound seems to wake something in her. Some survival instinct that overrides the fever. They move toward it. Ed's heart pounds. The bat is slick in his hands. They round a corner, and there it is. One of them, wearing a nurse's uniform, just standing in the hallway, not moving, not reaching, just standing and moaning that soft, continuous sound. It doesn't seem to see them, doesn't react. Merlyn raises the rifle, but Ed puts a hand on the barrel, pushes it down. Something's wrong, he says. The thing keeps moaning, keeps standing. Its eyes are milky and empty, but it's not attacking, not even looking their way. Merlyn loads the rifle, studies the thing, her scientific mind working even through the fever. It's like it forgot, she says, like it forgot what it's supposed to do. They edge past it. The thing doesn't turn, doesn't follow, just keeps making that sound like a machine that's stuck in one gear. The pharmacy is ahead. Glass windows, steel door. The windows are intact. Ed peers through, past shelves inside. Bottles, maybe medicine, maybe salvation. The door is locked. Of course it is. Everything worth having is locked or guarded or gone. Ed swings the bat. The glass cracks but doesn't break. He swings again. Again. On the 4th hit, the window shatters. The sound echoes through the empty hospital, loud as gunfire, loud as the end of the world. They wait, listening, waiting for the moans, waiting for the rush of feet and hands and teeth. Nothing comes. Ed climbs through, careful of the glass. Merlyn follows, slower. Her movements are mechanical now, like she's operating from somewhere outside her body. The pharmacy is chaos, shelves tipped over, pills scattered across the floor. Someone came here before, took what they needed or wanted, left the rest. Ed searches, reading labels, looking for antibiotics, looking for anything that might help. Most of the bottles are empty. Most of the useful drugs are gone. Merlyn sits on the floor, leans against a cabinet, her eyes close. Ed finds a bottle, amoxicillin, half full. The expiration date is past, but drugs don't just stop working because a date comes and goes. He takes it to Merlyn, shakes 2 pills into his hand. She opens her eyes, takes the pills, swallows them dry. Will it help? He asks. She shrugs. Maybe. If it's infection, if it's not just the serum eating me from inside. Ed keeps searching, finds more bottles, more possibilities. He fills his backpack with anything that looks useful. Painkillers, antiseptics, bandages, all the ordinary miracles of before. A sound from the hallway. Not a moan, a scrape, like something dragging. Ed moves to the broken window, looks out. The nurse thing is gone. In its place are others. 3 of them, moving slow, not hunting, just wandering, like they're lost in their own building. We need to go, Ed says. Merlyn stands, sways. Ed catches her, takes her weight. Together, they move to the door, out into the hallway. The things don't seem to notice them. Don't turn. Don't reach. Something about the serum, Merlyn says. Something about what it does to them. To us. To the whole sick equation. Her words are slurred. The fever is winning. Ed guides her to the stairs, 1 step at a time. Down toward the emergency room. Down toward the cold gray light of outside. Behind them, the things keep wandering. Keep making their soft sounds. Keep existing in whatever state they're in. Not alive. Not quite unliving either. Just stuck between. They make it to the 1st floor, to the emergency bay, to the snow and the silence, and the world that keeps turning no matter how many of them fall. Ed sits Merlyn down, gives her water from his bottle. She drinks. Some of it runs down her chin. She doesn't seem to notice. The pills might help, Ed says. You just need rest. Need to let them work. Merlyn looks at him. Her eyes are clear for a moment, bright and aware and sad. Thank you, she says, for staying, for not leaving when it would have been easier. Ed doesn't answer, just takes her hand, just holds on while the snow falls and the hospital looms behind them, and somewhere in the distance there might be a sanctuary, or there might be nothing at all. The fever dreams will come again. He knows this. She'll see things that aren't there, hear voices from before. Maybe she'll forget who he is, forget where they are, forget everything except the fever's fire. But for now she's here, still human, still fighting. He helps her stand, points toward the tree line, toward the next shelter, toward whatever comes after this. They walk, slow, careful. 2 figures in white on white. 2 people who refuse to become the wandering things in empty hallways. The hospital fades behind them. The snow covers their tracks. The world forgets they were ever there. Chapter 23. Last Stand Hospital. The fever breaks on the 3rd day. Merlyn wakes in a room she doesn't remember entering. Small space, 4 walls, a window with boards across it. Light comes through the gaps in thin gray lines. Ed is asleep in the corner, the baseball bat across his lap. His head tilted back against the wall. He looks exhausted, looks like he hasn't slept in days. She sits up, tests her body. The ache is still there, but duller now. The heat in her blood is cooled. She touches the scratch on her arm. The flesh is pink and healing. Normal as anything gets here. Her mouth tastes like metal and ash. She needs water, needs food, needs to figure out where they are and how they got here. She stands, moves to the window, looks through the gaps, trees outside, snow, a parking lot with abandoned cars. They're still near the hospital, must have found this place after she lost time to the fever. Ed wakes at the sound of her moving, jerks upright, grabs the bat, then sees her and relaxes. You're back, he says. Was I gone? He nods. 3 days, you were talking to people, your daughter, your husband. Sometimes you didn't know where you were. She doesn't remember. Just fragments, images like broken glass, Sophie's face, David's voice, Her mother's hands teaching her to make fire. "I'm sorry," she says. Ed stands, stretches. His joints pop. "Don't be." The antibiotics worked. Whatever the serum did, whatever it was trying to do, the drugs fought it off. He gives her water. She drinks. The bottle is almost empty. "We need to move soon," Ed says. "This place won't hold forever. And the things, they're getting weird." Weird how? He leads her to the window. Points. Out in the parking lot are shapes, maybe 20 of them, just standing there. Not moving, not moaning, just existing in the falling snow like statues. "They've been like that since yesterday," Ed says. Just standing, watching nothing. "I think the serum did something to them, to all of them. Made them forget what they're supposed to do." Merlyn studies them, tries to understand. The serum was meant to slow the virus, to give humans time, but maybe it did more. Maybe it changed something fundamental in how the things operate. Made them lose whatever drives them to hunt and feed and spread, or maybe it made them waiting, she says. Waiting for something else to happen. Like what? She doesn't answer. Doesn't know. Just watches the still figures in the snow and feels a coldness that has nothing to do with the weather. "We should leave now," Ed says, "while they're like this, before they remember." Merlyn nods, gathers her things, the rifle, the backpack, Sophie's rabbit tucked safe inside. They move to the door. Ed opens it slow, careful. The hallway beyond is empty. This building is some kind of office. Cubicles and desks and computers that will never turn on again. They navigate through it, toward the back exit, away from the parking lot and its frozen congregation. A sound stops them, from behind, a crash, like something falling. They turn, wait, listen. More sounds, multiple. The things are moving again, coming into the building. The spell or trance or whatever held them is breaking. Ed and Merlyn run through the cubicles, past the break room with its empty coffee maker and scattered cups, toward the exit sign that glows red from some battery backup that refuses to quit. The sounds get louder, closer, not the usual moans. Something different. Something that sounds almost like words, almost like speech. The exit door is chained from the inside. Ed swings the bat, breaks the chain, pushes the door open. They spill out into the snow and the gray light and the cold that steals their breath. Behind them, the building fills with movement, shadows in windows, shapes pressing against glass. The things pour out of the front entrance, maybe 50 of them, maybe more, all moving now, all remembering what they are. Run, Merlyn says. They run, across the lot, toward the trees. The snow is deep, and it pulls at their legs. They stumble. Keep going. The things follow, slow at first, then faster. The tree line is close, just a little further. Ed's lungs burn. Merlyn's fever weakness shows. She's falling behind. Ed stops, turns. The things are close now. Close enough to see their faces, their empty eyes, their reaching hands. He raises the bat. No way they can outrun this. No way they can fight them all. But maybe he can buy Merlyn time. Maybe he can hold them long enough for her to get away. Merlyn grabs his arm, pulls him. No, she says, not like this. Not standing still, she has one of the serum vials in her hand, the second to last. She throws it, hard. It shatters on the ground between them and the Hord. The clear liquid splashes, spreads, steams in the cold. The things stop, like they hit a wall. They stand there, swaying. The smell or the presence or something about the serum holds them. Move, Merlyn says. They run again, into the trees. The things don't follow, just stand there in the snow like someone cut their strings. Ed and Merlyn don't stop until they're deep in the forest, until the hospital and its parking lot and the frozen Hord are far behind. They collapse against trees, breathing hard, hearts pounding. That was the second to last vial, Ed says when he can speak. Merlyn nods. I know. What happens when they're gone? What happens when we don't have any left? She doesn't answer. Just looks back the way they came. Back toward the hospital where the things stand and wait and maybe dream whatever dreams the unliving dream. We find the sanctuary, she says finally. We find it and we hope they have answers. Hope they have something better than this. Ed wants to believe her, wants to think there's a place where the serum isn't needed, where people have figured out how to live in this world without becoming part of it. But he's seen too much, lost too much. Hope is a luxury he can barely afford. They rest for a few minutes, then they move again, through the forest, through the snow, following the map that might lead to salvation or might lead to nothing. Behind them, the hospital fades into the white. The things stand like monuments to what everyone used to be. And somewhere in the distance, a radio crackles with a signal that promises rescue. They walk toward it because there's nothing else to walk toward. Because staying still means freezing or starving or becoming one of the standing things. Because humans are built to move, built to search, built to hope even when hope makes no sense. The snow falls, the world turns, they keep walking. False promises. The radio signal grows stronger as they walk, a voice repeating coordinates, a woman's voice. Calm, professional, like she's reading a weather report instead of broadcasting into the wasteland. Military Base Sierra 7, the voice says, safe haven, medical supplies, food, shelter. Follow the signal. We're waiting. Ed walks beside Merlyn. The snow has stopped, but the cold hasn't. His fingers are numb inside his gloves. His face feels like wood. You believe it? He asks. Merlyn doesn't answer right away, just keeps walking, her rifle across her back, her eyes scanning the tree line. Does it matter? She says finally. We're going anyway, because what else is there? The coordinates lead them east, through forest and over frozen streams. They see no one, no tracks, no signs of life or unlife, just white and gray and the endless cold. On the second day, they find a road, buried under snow but visible from the guardrails. They follow it, easier than cutting through wilderness. Faster. That's when they see the smoke. Dark column rising against the pale sky. Too much smoke for a campfire. Too controlled for a forest fire. Something big is burning. They approach careful, quiet. The road curves around a hill, and there it is, the base. Chain-link fence, guard towers, buildings that look military, and fire, lots of fire. Black smoke pouring from what used to be the main structure. Bodies in the snow, not the unliving kind, fresh, maybe hours old. Gunshot wounds, boot prints everywhere, tire tracks leading away. Raiders, Merlyn says. She's crouched beside a body, a woman, middle-aged, civilian clothes, shot in the back while running. Ed feels sick. This wasn't a battle. This was a slaughter. The promise of sanctuary was a trap, bait to draw in the desperate. They move through the base, past more bodies, past burned buildings, past evidence of what people become when the rules disappear, when survival means taking from those who have less. In what used to be the command center, they find the radio, still broadcasting, still repeating its lies, a recording, no one alive to send it. Just a machine doing what machines do until the batteries die. Ed wants to smash it, wants to silence the false hope. But Merlyn stops him. Leave it, she says. Let it keep calling. Let it keep drawing the raiders back here, away from whoever's left out there. They salvage what they can. Ammunition, a few cans of food, a better coat for Ed, not much. The raiders took most of it. In the corner, Ed finds something else, a backpack. Inside is a journal. He opens it, reads the first page. Day 1 at Sierra 7, thought we'd made it, thought we'd found something real, should have known better. The entries go on. Weeks of hope turning to doubt, doubt turning to fear. The final entry is dated 3 days ago. They're not soldiers, just men with guns and lies. We tried to run. Most of us didn't make it. If you find this, don't trust the broadcast. Don't come here. There's nothing but smoke and promises that were always lies. Ed shows it to Merlyn. She reads it. Her face doesn't change, like she expected this, like she knew before they arrived. We keep moving, she says. The sanctuary on the map. Haven's Gate. That's the only lead left. They leave the base, leave the bodies and the burning and the radio still calling out its poison. The tire tracks lead south. The raiders went that way. Ed and Merlyn go north, toward the mountains, toward the last mark on Dr. Miller's map. Night falls. They find shelter in an abandoned gas station. The windows are intact, the door locks. They fortify it anyway, push shelves against the entrance, cover the windows with cardboard. Ed makes a small fire in a metal trash can. The smoke goes up through a hole in the roof. They warm their hands, eat cold beans from a can. Don't talk. After a while, Merlyn pulls out the last 2 vials of serum, sets them between them. The firelight catches the glass, makes them glow like captured stars. 2 left, she says. Maybe enough to get us to Haven's Gate, maybe not. What if it's like Sierra 7, Ed asks. What if it's just more lies? Then we die having tried, Merlyn says. Better than dying because we gave up. Ed looks at her. She looks older in the firelight, tired, but not broken, never broken. Why do you keep going, he asks. What's the point if it's all just this? Just raiders and corpses and promises that turn to ash? Merlyn is quiet for a long time, staring into the fire. When she speaks, her voice is soft, almost too soft to hear, because my daughter's name was Sophie, she says. And she used to laugh when I pushed her on swings. And my husband would make coffee every morning, even though he hated the taste. And my mother taught me that fire needs air and kindness needs practice. And all of that is gone. All of it is ash. But I remember it, and as long as I remember it, as long as I keep moving, then it wasn't for nothing. Then they mattered. Then the world meant something before it ended. Ed doesn't know what to say to that, so he just nods, feeds another piece of wood to the fire. Outside, the wind picks up, carries voices that aren't there, carries the weight of all the people who used to be, who used to matter, who used to wake up and make coffee and push children on swings. They sleep in shifts. Ed first, then Merlyn. The fire burns down to embers, the night presses against the windows, and somewhere in the dark, the raiders might be hunting. The unliving might be wandering, the cold might be waiting to claim them both. But for now, there's warmth. There's shelter. There's 2 people who refuse to stop. Morning comes, gray and cold. They pack their things, leave the gas station, head north toward mountains they can barely see through the haze. The map shows 3 more days to Haven's Gate. 3 more days of walking and hoping and holding on to the idea that somewhere someone built something real. 3 more days to find out if sanctuary exists or if it's just another word for nowhere. They walk. The snow crunches. The wind cuts. The world stretches out empty and white, and they keep going. Because that's what humans do. Because stopping means ending, and neither of them is ready for that. Not yet. Chapter 25, Sanctuary's Edge. Haven's Gate appears on the 3rd day like something from before. High walls made of sheet metal and wood. Guard towers. Smoke from chimneys. The sound of voices. Human voices. Living and speaking and calling out to each other. Ed stops at the tree line. Just stares. After so long seeing nothing but empty buildings and wandering corpses, the sight of an actual community is almost painful. Like looking at the sun. Merlyn is more cautious. She studies the walls, the towers, the way guards move along the perimeter, looking for weakness, looking for the trap. Could be real, Ed says. His voice is hopeful, desperate for it to be true. Could be, Merlyn agrees. Or could be raiders who learn that walls draw people better than broadcasts. Only one way to find out. They approach slow. Hands visible, weapons lowered. The guards see them. Rifles track their movement. A voice calls down from the nearest tower. Stop there. State your business. It's a man's voice. Older. Tired. But not cruel. Not yet. We're looking for sanctuary, Merlyn calls back. We have supplies to trade. Skills to offer. We're not sick. Not infected. The guard studies them. Long pause. Then he turns. Says something to someone they can't see. Turns back. You alone? Just us 2. Where you coming from? North. Been walking 3 weeks. Heard about this place from a map. What map? Merlyn hesitates. Dr. Miller's notes. From a research bunker. She was CDC. Studying the virus. Another long pause. More discussion above. Finally the guard nods. You can come in, but first you surrender your weapons. That's the rule. Everyone inside is unarmed except the guards. Keeps things civilized. Merlyn's jaw tightens. No. The guard shakes his head. Then you don't come in. Simple as that. We've worked too hard to build this place to let armed strangers walk around. You want sanctuary. You follow the rules. Ed touches Merlyn's arm. Maybe we should, he says quietly. Maybe it's worth the risk. You don't give up your weapon, Merlyn says. Not in a world like this. Not when your weapon might be all that keeps you alive. But the walls look solid. The smoke from chimneys means heat, means food being cooked, means people living instead of just surviving. Ed wants that, wants it so badly he can taste it. We could keep one, he says, hidden, just in case. Merlyn looks at him. Something shifts in her face. Some calculation. Some compromise with the part of her that knows you can't live forever on guard. Fine, she says, but I keep the knife. Hidden. And if this goes wrong, if this is another Sierra 7, then we fight our way out. The guard is still waiting. Merlyn calls up. We'll come in. We'll surrender weapons. But we want to meet whoever runs this place. Want to see that it's legitimate. You'll meet the mayor? The guard says. Everyone does. Now come forward. Slow. Keep your hands where we can see them. They approach the gate. It's made of heavy timber reinforced with steel. Takes 3 people to open it. It swings inward and they step through. Inside is a different world. Streets cleared of snow, buildings repaired, people moving around talking, working, living, children even. Ed sees 2 kids throwing snowballs, laughing. The sound is strange after so long hearing only silence or screams. The guards are professional and they take the rifle, the baseball bat, Ed's multi-tool. Search them thoroughly. Find nothing else because Merlyn hid the knife in her boot before they reached the gate. This way, one guard says, a woman, young, maybe 25. She has kind eyes but carries her rifle like she knows how to use it. They follow her through the town. Haven's Gate used to be something else, maybe a small resort community. The buildings are nice, well-made, now repurposed, signs hand-painted, trading post, medical, housing, all the pieces of civilization rebuilt in miniature. People watch them pass, curious but not hostile. Some nod, some just stare. Ed nods back, tries to smile, feels his face crack from the effort. They reach the largest building, used to be a lodge maybe. The guard leads them inside. Warmth hits like a wave, real heat from a wood stove. Ed almost sags from relief. Wait here, the guard says. She disappears down a hallway. Ed and Merlyn stand in what used to be a lobby, furniture arranged, windows intact, maps on the wall showing the surrounding area, guard schedules, work rosters, all the administrative debris of a functioning community. After a few minutes, a woman enters. Late 50s, gray hair in a bun, reading glasses on a chain. She looks like someone's grandmother, looks like someone who used to run a library or teach school. Welcome to Haven's Gate, she says. I'm Mayor Reeves. You've come a long way by the look of you. Merlyn nods. We have. We're looking for a place to stay, to help, to be part of something that lasts. Mayor Reeves studies them. Her eyes are sharp behind the glasses. We can offer that, but you need to understand how we operate here. We have rules, structure. Everyone can share the load, and everyone surrenders their weapons. No exceptions. That's how we've survived this long. What about defense? Merlyn asks. What happens when the things come, or when raiders find you? We have trained guards, Mayor Reeves says, people who've proven themselves, who understand that protecting the community is a privilege. Not everyone gets to carry weapons, but everyone gets to live in safety. Safety bought with disarmament, Merlyn says. What happens when the guards decide they don't want to serve? When they want to rule? Mayor Reeves smiles. It's tired but genuine. That's the question, isn't it? The question of every civilization. How do you balance freedom with security? We've chosen security. We've chosen structure. And so far it's worked. 80 people alive and fed and sleeping warm. That's worth the compromise. Ed speaks up. We'll follow your rules. We'll work. We'll help. We just want a chance to stop running. Mayor Reeves looks at him, then at Merlyn, then nods slowly. All right, we'll give you that chance. You'll have quarters assigned. Work details will start tomorrow. You'll be watched for a while. That's normal. We need to make sure you fit. But if you prove yourselves, then you're one of us. Welcome home." The words feel strange. Home. Like a language Ed forgot how to speak. The mayor assigns them a small cabin. 2 rooms. Wood stove. Actual beds with blankets. Ed sits on one, and it's so soft he almost cries. After months of frozen ground and hard floors, the simple comfort of a mattress is overwhelming. Merlyn is less impressed. She checks the windows, tests the door, looks for exits. Always looking for exits. "You need to relax," Ed says. "This could be real. This could be what we've been looking for." "Maybe," Merlyn says, "but I'll keep the knife close anyway." That night they eat in the communal hall. Real food. Venison stew. Bread that's only a day old. Vegetables from a greenhouse someone built. The room is warm and full of voices, people eating together, talking about work schedules and repairs and all the mundane concerns of a functioning society. Ed eats 3 bowls. Can't help himself. The food is simple, but after weeks of cold cans and hunger, it's the best thing he's ever tasted. A young man sits down across from them, maybe 19. Friendly face, guard uniform. "I'm Alexander," he says. "Heard you 2 came in today. First newcomers in a month. Where you from?" Ed tells him. Edited version. The journey, the cold, the things they've seen. Leaves out the serum, leaves out the details that might raise questions. Alexander listens, nods, says he came here 6 months ago, says Haven's Gate saved his life, says the mayor is stern but fair, says the work is hard but worth it. Ed wants to believe him. Wants to think this young guard with his easy smile and his warm food is telling the truth. Merlyn is quieter, watching, listening, reading the room the way she reads landscapes. After dinner, they return to their cabin. Ed builds a fire in the stove. The warmth fills the space. He lies on the bed, stares at the ceiling. For the first time in months, he feels something like peace. Merlyn sits by the window, looking out at the town, at the lights in other buildings, at the guards walking their routes. "What are you thinking?" Ed asks. "That it's too good," she says. "That things this good don't last. That somewhere there's a cost we haven't seen yet. Maybe the cost is just what the mayor said. Giving up weapons, following rules. Maybe that's not so bad." Merlyn doesn't answer, just keeps watching the night, her hand near her boot where the knife is hidden. Outside a bell rings. The guards changing shifts, voices calling to each other. Normal sounds. Human sounds, the sounds of a place that works. Ed closes his eyes, lets himself drift, lets himself hope that maybe Merlyn is wrong. Maybe this time they found something real. He's almost asleep when the screaming starts. His eyes snap open. Merlyn is already moving, pulling on her boots, grabbing her coat, the knife in her hand. The screaming comes from the walls, high and terrified. Then gunfire. Lots of it. Rapid. Panicked. Ed and Merlyn run outside. Others are emerging from buildings, confused, frightened. The mayor appears from the lodge, calling for calm, calling for people to stay inside, but the gunfire continues, and then another sound, lower, deeper, a moan that rises from beyond the walls. Not one voice, many, a chorus of the unliving. The walls are breached, someone shouts, "East side, they're coming through." Merlyn runs toward the sound, Ed follows. They reach the eastern wall and see it. A section collapsed. Maybe old wood that finally gave way. Maybe something pushed it. Doesn't matter now. The gap is there, and through it come the things. Dozens of them. Moving faster than they should. Moving with purpose. The guards are firing, but there are too many. Too many shapes in the dark. Too many reaching hands. Merlyn grabs a rifle from a fallen guard. Starts shooting. Controlled. Precise. Each shot a headshot. Each shot dropping one of the things. Ed has no weapon, just his hands. He picks up a piece of the broken wall, lumber with nails, swings it at the nearest corpse. The thing goes down. He swings again, fighting with wood and fear and the desperate need to survive. The things keep coming. The gap is wide, and they pour through like water, like they knew this place was here, like they were called. Alexander appears beside them, firing his rifle, reloading, Firing again, his friendly face is gone, replaced by something harder. Something that knows what survival costs. Fall back, he shouts. Fall back to the lodge. We can't hold this. The guards retreat. The survivors retreat. Running through the town toward the central building. Behind them, the things spread out. Filling the streets, filling the spaces between buildings. Taking Haven's Gate piece by piece. They make it to the lodge, barricade the doors. The mayor is there, organizing, directing. No panic in her voice. Just cold assessment of a situation gone wrong. How many inside? She asks. 40. Maybe 50, someone answers. The rest are cut off or already gone. The mayor nods. Then we hold here. We hold until morning. Then we see what's left. Ed looks at Merlyn. She's checking the rifle, counting ammunition. Her face is calm. This is what she knows. This is what she's good at. The chaos and the fear and the fight. The things pound on the doors, on the windows, testing the barriers, looking for weakness, always looking for weakness. It'll be a long night. Chapter 26, Walls Come Down. The things don't stop. Hour after hour, they pound and moan and press against the lodge. The barricades hold but barely. Wood groans. Nails shriek day. Someone's crying in the back room. Someone else is praying. Most just wait. Silent. Knowing morning might not come for all of them. Ed sits against a wall, the piece of lumber beside him, nails dark with what used to be in skulls. His hands shake, not from fear now, from exhaustion, from the adrenaline leaving his body with nowhere to go. Merlyn moves through the lodge, checking defenses, talking to the mayor, organizing the people who can still fight. She's in her element here. The crisis, the desperate stand, all the skills she learned in a world that ended. Alexander finds Ed, sits beside him. The young guard's uniform is torn. Dark stains on the sleeve. His rifle is empty. Used the last rounds holding the retreat. Never seen them like that before, Alexander says. Never seen them organized, like they were hunting us. Ed nods. Doesn't mention the serum. Doesn't mention what Merlyn did at the hospital, how she threw the vial and the things stopped, how the serum might be changing everything about how the unliving behave. Near midnight, the pounding stops. Sudden silence. Everyone freezes, listening, waiting for the next sound, the next attack. But there's nothing. Just quiet. Just the wind outside and the crackling of the fire in the lodge's stove. Mayor Reeves moves to a window, peers through a gap in the boards. Her face goes pale. They're just standing there, she says. All of them. Just standing. Ed and Merlyn go to see. Push aside a board. Look out. The mayor is right. The things fill the street. Maybe 100 of them. Just standing. Not moving. Not reaching. Like someone pressed pause. It's the serum, Merlyn says quietly. Only Ed and the mayor can hear. What I used at the hospital. It's spreading. Changing them. Making them forget what they do. What serum? The mayor asks. Her voice is sharp, demanding answers. Merlyn explains. Quick. Efficient. Dr. Miller's research. The vials. What they do to the unliving. How they slow them. Confuse them. But also how they might make things worse. Might create mutations. Might turn the predictable into something unknown. The mayor listens. Her face unreadable. When Merlyn finishes, she's quiet for a long moment. You brought this here, she says finally. Whatever this is. Whatever they're becoming. You brought it to our walls. I didn't know, Merlyn says. Didn't know it would spread like this. Didn't know they would track it. The mayor turns away. Looks at her people. Scared. Exhausted. Holding on to hope by their fingernails. We'll deal with this later, she says. Right now we survive the night. Then we figure out what comes next. Morning comes gray and cold. The things are still standing, still frozen, like they're waiting for a signal that never comes. The mayor organizes a team, guards and volunteers. They arm themselves with whatever's left, melee weapons mostly. The ammunition is gone or nearly gone. They open the lodge doors, move out careful, ready for the attack that doesn't come. The things don't react, don't turn, don't reach. Just stand there with their empty eyes and their frozen patience. The team moves through them, testing. One guard hits a corpse with a bat. The thing falls. Doesn't get up, doesn't respond, just lies there, like something that forgot how to be unliving. They're shutting down, Merlyn says. The serum is in their system somehow, in the air or the blood or the connection between them. It's making them stop. Is it permanent? The mayor asks. I don't know. Dr. Miller's notes didn't cover this, didn't cover what happens when the serum spreads beyond a single dose. The team spends the day clearing the town, pushing over the standing things, dragging them outside the walls. It's easy work. Too easy. The corpses don't fight back, don't resist, just fall when pushed. By evening, Haven's Gate is clear. The walls are damaged but repairable. The dead are piled outside, silent, still. Maybe gone forever. Maybe just waiting. The survivors gather in the lodge. A count is taken. 62 left. 18 lost in the attack. 18 people who came to Haven's Gate looking for sanctuary and found something else. The mayor addresses them. Her voice is strong but tired. We survived. That's what matters. Tomorrow we rebuild. We repair the walls. We post more guards. We make this place stronger. We make sure this never happens again. Someone asks about the serum, about what it means, about whether they're safe. The mayor looks at Merlyn, then back to her people. We have someone here who knows about the virus, about the research being done before the world ended. She'll work with our doctor, figure out what the serum does, whether it's a weapon we can use, whether it's a cure. It's not a cure, Merlyn says. Just want that clear. It's not salvation. It's just another complication in a world full of them. The mayor nods. Understood. But it's something, and something is better than nothing. The meeting ends. People disperse to their cabins, to their beds, to whatever rest they can find after a night like that. Ed and Merlyn walk back to their cabin. The town is quiet. The standing things are gone, but the fear remains. The knowledge that safety is temporary, that walls fall, that nothing lasts. Inside, Merlyn sits on her bed, stares at the floor. Ed can see she's running calculations, trying to understand what happened, how the serum spread, what it means for the next attack and the one after that. You saved us, Ed says. If you hadn't used the serum at the hospital, if it hadn't spread, those things would have taken this place, would have killed everyone. Or I brought them here, Merlyn says. Maybe the serum called them. Maybe they can sense it somehow. Maybe I'm the reason the walls came down. You can't know that. No, can't know anything. That's the problem. Dr. Miller figured out how to slow them, but she never figured out the cost. Never figured out what happens when you change the rules of how things work. Ed doesn't have an answer, just sits beside her. Two people who've come too far to stop now. Two people trying to understand a world that keeps changing its shape. Outside, the night settles. Guard patrols resume. The walls stand, damaged but standing. And somewhere beyond the perimeter, the pile of unliving things lies still. Silent. Waiting to see if they remember how to move again. Or waiting for something else. Something worse than what they were before. Chapter 27. Mutant Shadows. 3 days pass. Haven's Gate rebuilds. The walls get reinforced. New watch schedules. More training for people who never held weapons before. The mayor runs it all with quiet efficiency, turning scared survivors into something like a militia. Ed works on the walls, lifting lumber, driving nails. His hands blister, but he doesn't stop. The work feels good. Feels like building instead of running. Like maybe they found a place to make a stand. Alexander works beside him. The young guard has warmed to Ed, talks about before sometimes. About his family, about school, about all the normal things that don't exist anymore. Ed listens, grateful for the company, grateful for someone who doesn't carry the weight Merlyn carries. Merlyn spends her time with Dr. Patel, the sanctuary's doctor, a man in his 40s with careful hands and careful words. They work in the medical building, studying the serum, trying to understand what it does and why. Dr. Patel has equipment, not much. A microscope, some basic chemistry tools, things he salvaged from before. He examines samples of the serum under the microscope, makes notes, shares observations with Merlyn. The virus is complex, he says, more complex than anything natural. This serum you found, it interrupts something in how the virus replicates, slows the process, but it also mutates the host, changes something fundamental. Changes how? Merlyn asks. He shows her the slide, points to structures she doesn't fully understand. The infected cells become more aggressive initially, then they burn out, die faster, but in that aggressive phase they're dangerous, unpredictable. Now the host becomes something between what they were and what they're becoming. So the serum makes them worse before it makes them stop, Merlyn says. Yes, and if the serum spreads, if it gets into multiple hosts, we don't know what happens then, don't know if the mutation can compound, accelerate, become something new. That night Ed finds Merlyn staring at the last vial, the final serum dose. She's holding it up to the lamplight, watching the clear liquid catch the glow. We should destroy it, she says, before someone gets desperate and uses it, before it causes more problems than it solves. But what if we need it? Ed asks. What if one of us gets scratched again? Then we die human, Merlyn says. Better that than becoming whatever those things at the hospital became, whatever might be coming next. Before Ed can respond, a bell rings. The alarm, 3 short bursts, the signal for danger. They run outside. Others are already moving toward the western wall, toward where the guards are pointing and shouting. Ed and Merlyn push through the crowd, get to the wall, look over, and see it. One of them, but different. Taller somehow, faster, it moves across the snow in long strides, not shambling, not slow, moving with purpose and speed. Its skin is darker, mottled, like the virus changed something visible, made it wrong in new ways. The thing reaches the wall, looks up, and Ed swears it's looking at them. Really looking, with eyes that aren't quite empty anymore. Then it jumps, actually jumps, clears 6 feet, grabs the top of the wall. The wood groans under its weight. It pulls itself up. The guards are shooting, but the bullets don't seem to stop it, don't even slow it. Merlyn runs along the wall, aims her rifle, fires. The shot takes it in the head. The thing drops, falls back outside the wall, lies still. Everyone watches, waiting, but it doesn't move, doesn't get back up. 1 shot, that's all it took. But 1 shot to a target that moved faster and jumped higher than anything they've seen before. The mayor climbs the wall, looks at the body below, looks at Merlyn. What was that? She asks. The mutation, Merlyn says. What Dr. Patel warned about. The serum changing them, making them something new. Is that the only one? No one knows. No one can say. They watch the tree line, watch the snow, wait for more shapes to appear. More mutants that forgot how to be slow. But nothing comes. Just the one. Just the first. Just the proof that the virus is learning, evolving, becoming something worse than what it was. The mayor orders more patrols, more ammunition distributed, says they need to be ready, says the rules just changed again. That night, Ed can't sleep, keeps thinking about how the thing moved, how it looked at them, how it seemed almost aware, almost intelligent. Like the virus is learning, evolving, becoming something worse than what it was. Merlyn sits in the dark of their cabin, not speaking, just thinking. Ed knows she's blaming herself, knows she's connecting what she did at the hospital to what appeared tonight, drawing lines between cause and effect. It's not your fault, he says. You were trying to survive. That's all any of us are doing. Doesn't matter whose fault it is, Merlyn says. Only matters what we do next. How we stop it before more of them change, before they all become fast and aware and unstoppable. Dr. Patel thinks he can make something, some kind of counter-agent, but he needs time. Do we have time? Merlyn doesn't answer, just stares out the window at the dark, at the world that keeps finding new ways to end. Morning brings a hunting party. The mayor organizes it, volunteers only. Merlyn goes, Ed goes, Alexander goes, 6 others, armed with the best weapons left. Their mission is simple. Track the mutant, make sure it's truly gone, make sure there aren't others hiding in the forest. Waiting. They move through the forest, quiet, alert, looking for tracks, for signs, for any indication that more of the changed things are out there. Alexander walks beside Ed, his rifle ready, his young face serious. This is different than before, he says. Before you could see them coming, could hear them. Now you don't know. Could be fast, could be silent, could be smart enough to ambush. Ed nods, grips his metal bat. The guards found it in the sports equipment storage. Gave it to him after they saw what he did with the lumber. After they saw he'd fight when the moment came. The hunting party finds tracks, big ones. Running stride, they follow, through snow and trees and cold that steals breath. The tracks lead to a clearing, to the mutant's body from last night. Still there, still motionless. They approach careful. Merlyn checks it, confirms it's gone. Not playing dead, not waiting, just flesh that stopped working. But around the body are other tracks, older, fainter, like this thing had been moving through the area for days. Hunting, searching, learning the territory before it attacked. It was scouting us, Merlyn says. Testing the defenses. This wasn't random. It knew what it was doing. The thought sits heavy. If one mutant can think, can plan, can scout before attacking, then the rules have changed more than anyone understood. They search the area, looking for more. Looking for nests or groups or anything that suggests this wasn't isolated. They find nothing. Just the one set of tracks. Just the one mutant. For now. They're about to head back when they hear a sound. A scream. Human. Coming from deeper in the forest, the party moves toward it. Fast but careful, ready for anything. They find a man, trapped in a ravine. He must have fallen, broke his leg, been there maybe a day. He's hypothermic, delirious, but alive. The party gets him out. Alexander and another guard rig a stretcher from branches and coats. They carry him back to Haven's Gate. Back to Dr. Patel, to whatever chance at survival medical attention can provide. The man's name is Marcus. Older, 60s. He was traveling alone, looking for sanctuary, heard rumors about Haven's Gate, got lost, got hurt, got lucky that the hunting party found him. Dr. Patel works on him, sets the leg, treats the exposure, says he'll probably live if infection doesn't set in, if the cold didn't damage too much, if luck holds a little longer. That night Ed visits Alexander, finds the young guard cleaning his rifle. Methodical, practiced. The way soldiers do. We saved someone today, Ed says. Feels good. Feels like maybe we're not just surviving. Maybe we're building something worth protecting. Alexander nods, but his face is troubled. That thing last night, though, the way it moved, the way it looked at us, that's what I keep thinking about. Not the man we saved. The thing that's coming. You think there are more? I think that was a scout, like Merlyn said, and come before armies. Ed doesn't sleep well that night. Keeps thinking about Alexander's words, about mutants that think, that plan, that evolve beyond what they were. About how sanctuary might just be another word for waiting for the next thing that's faster and smarter and hungrier than what came before. Chapter 28, Truth's Cold Sting. Thomas wakes on the fourth day. The hypothermia recedes. The broken leg starts healing. Dr. Patel says he'll walk again with time. Says the forest would have claimed him if the hunting party hadn't found him. Says sometimes luck matters more than skill. Marcus is his full name. Marcus Webb, former teacher. Lost his family in the first weeks, been wandering ever since. Heard about Haven's Gate from another survivor months ago. Spent all that time searching. Almost died trying. He integrates into the community. Quiet man, grateful, works where he's needed. Doesn't talk much about before. Most people don't. Before is a wound that doesn't heal, just scabs over. Dr. Patel calls a meeting. The mayor, Merlyn, a few others, they gather in the medical building, away from the rest of the survivors, away from panic. Dr. Patel shows them his notes, his observations, the samples he's been studying, the mutant they found, the one that scouted them, the one that moved with purpose. The infection is evolving, he says. The serum accelerated something, made the virus unstable. Some hosts burn out fast, stop functioning, but others adapt. The virus learns to work with the serum instead of against it, create something faster, stronger, more dangerous. So the serum creates mutations, the mayor says, makes them worse instead of better. In some cases, yes, Dr. Patel says. But there's more. The serum also makes the virus vulnerable, creates a window where antibiotics work, where the immune system can fight back. We saw it with the samples. The virus becomes aggressive but also fragile. If we had the right medicine, the right timing, we could save people after infection. He pulls out more notes, shows them calculations, projections, but here's the problem. Every time the serum is used, every time it interacts with the virus, there's a chance it creates a mutant. Maybe 1 in 10 exposures, maybe 1 in 5. We don't know the exact ratio. But the more we use it, the more mutants we create. The mayor looks at Merlyn. So the serum is both weapon and curse. Might save individuals, but doom everyone else. That's about right, Dr. Patel says. There's a third option, Merlyn says. We could try to spread the serum deliberately, expose as many of the unliving as possible, force the mutation. Some will become faster and more dangerous, but others will burn out, die faster. If we could tip the balance, make more of them die than mutate, we might clear the region. That's insane, someone says. You're talking about making the problem worse deliberately. Silence in the room. Everyone processing. Everyone understanding what this means. We have 1 vial left, Merlyn says, 1 dose. We could study it, try to refine it, make it safer, or we could destroy it, make sure it never spreads again. The mayor stands, paces. Her face is lined with decisions that weigh more than any person should carry. If we destroy it, we lose the only weapon that might save someone from infection. If we keep it, we risk creating more mutants, more chaos, more death. There's another option, Dr. Patel says. We use the serum, not on humans, on the unliving. Create a controlled exposure. See if we can make them all mutate, make them all burn out faster, accelerate their death cycle. It's dangerous, could backfire, but it might clear the region, might give us years instead of months. That's insane, someone says. You're talking about weaponizing the virus, making it worse deliberately. I'm talking about survival, Dr. Patel says, about using the tools we have, about accepting that there are no good choices, only choices that might work and choices that definitely won't. The mayor looks at Merlyn. What do you think? Merlyn stares at the vial, the last one, the last piece of Dr. Miller's research, the last hope or the last mistake. I think we destroy it, she says finally. I think we stop pretending we can control this. The virus has beaten every attempt to fight it, has adapted to every cure, has outlasted governments and armies and the entire medical establishment. We're not going to beat it with 1 vial of experimental serum. We're just going to make it angrier. But people could die, someone argues, people who might have been saved. People are already dying, Merlyn says. Every day, every hour. The question of whether we save everyone, it's whether we avoid making things worse. And this serum, this thing we've been carrying, it makes things worse. Every time. Without fail, the room is quiet, heavy with the weight of what's being decided. The mayor takes the vial from Merlyn, holds it up, looks at it the way you look at something that promised everything and delivered nothing. We vote, she says. This affects everyone. Everyone gets a say. Those in favor of destroying the serum, those in favor of keeping it for research, those in favor of weaponizing it. We decide together as a community, the way civilized people do. They gather the survivors, explain the situation, explain the options. Dr. Patel presents his findings. Merlyn explains the risks. The mayor presents the choices. The vote takes an hour. People talking, arguing, some crying, some angry, all of them scared. All of them knowing that whatever they choose, someone will pay the price. In the end, the count is close, but clear. 40 votes to destroy the serum, 18 to keep it, 4 to weaponize it. Democracy has spoken, the mayor says. We destroy it. We remove this temptation. We face what's coming without relying on tools that might betray us. That night, Ed and Merlyn talk in their cabin. The decision weighs heavy. The serum represented possibility, hope, the chance that science might still save them. Now that chance is gone. burned away because the cost was too high, the risk too great. Do you think we made the right choice? Ed asks. Merlyn stares at the wall, at nothing. I think we made the only choice we could live with. Whether it's right, whether it saves us or dooms us, we won't know until it's too late to change our minds. The next morning, they prepare for the burning. Merlyn will do it. She found the serum. She used it, she'll be the one to end it. They walk to the edge of town to where they burn the trash, the useless things, the dangerous things. Ed walks with her, silent support, just being there because that's what partners do. Merlyn holds the vial over the fire. One last moment, one last chance to pull back, to keep the possibility alive. Then she drops it, the glass shatters, the serum burns, clear liquid turning to steam, rising into the cold air. If you made it this far, consider hitting that like button and subscribing if you haven't already. Let us know where you're watching from, years of research, what years of hope. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Trash fire. Because we're too scared to use it, too desperate to risk it, or because we're smart enough to know when something costs more than it's worth, Ed says. That's not cowardice, that's wisdom. Merlyn doesn't respond, just watches the smoke rise, watches the last of Dr. Miller's work disappear into the gray sky. They walk back to town together, the deed done, the choice made. Haven's Gate will face what comes without the serum, without the weapon that might have saved them or might have killed them faster, just walls and guards and people who refuse to stop trying. That night, Marcus's fever breaks, his leg starts healing properly. Dr. Patel says he'll live, says his body fought off the exposure, says modern medicine still has some tricks left even without miracle cures. The victory is small, quiet, but real. A man who should have died in a frozen ravine is alive. Walking, contributing, one more person saved by being found at the right time, by people who still look for survivors instead of just surviving. Ed sits with Marcus in the communal hall. The older man talks about teaching, about students who graduated just before the world ended, about lesson plans and parent conferences and all the mundane machinery of education that seemed so important then. I taught history, Marcus says, spent 30 years teaching kids about the past, about civilizations that rose and fell, about empires that thought they'd last forever. Never thought I'd live through the fall myself. Never thought I'd become the history I taught. Maybe you'll get to teach again, Ed says. If we make it through this, if we build something that lasts, someone needs to remember. Someone needs to tell the next generation what happened, what we lost, what we're trying to save. Marcus smiles. It's tired, but genuine. Maybe. If we're lucky, if there's a next generation to teach, they sit in comfortable silence, two people who found shelter, who found purpose, who found reasons to keep going when giving up would be easier. Outside the night settles, the guards walk their routes, the walls stand, and somewhere in the distance the unliving wander, searching, always searching, for warmth, for life, for the thing they lost and can't remember. But inside Haven's Gate there's warmth, there's community. There's people who chose to destroy their best weapon because using it might cost more than it saved. That has to mean something, has to count for something in the cosmic ledger of good choices and bad. At least they hope it does, because hope is all they have left. Hope in walls and each other. And sometimes, just sometimes, that's enough. Chapter 29, Fire and Ice. The raiders come at dawn, when the light is weak and the guards are tired from night watch, when people are just waking, just starting fires, just believing another day might pass in peace, 50 of them, maybe more, armed, organized, led by someone who knows how to fight, how to take, how to turn desperation into violence. They hit the North Gate with something explosive, homemade, crude, but effective. The gate blows inward, wood and metal scattering. The sound rolls across Haven's Gate like thunder. The alarm bell rings. People pour from buildings, confused, afraid. The guards run to defensive positions, but the raiders are already inside, already spreading through the town, taking what they can, setting fires, creating chaos. Merlyn grabs her knife, the only weapon she has. Ed has his metal bat. They run toward the gate, toward the fight. Because hiding means dying, and they've come too far to die hiding. The raiders wear mismatched gear, military surplus, hunting clothes, makeshift armor. They move like they've done this before. Like Haven's Gate isn't the first sanctuary they've broken. Merlyn sees one raider corner a woman, an older survivor named Helen. He's got a gun pointed at her, demanding food, supplies, anything valuable. Merlyn comes up behind him. Fast, quiet, the knife finds his kidney. He drops. Helen runs. Ed swings his bat at another raider, catches him in the knee. The man goes down, screaming. Ed doesn't wait, keeps moving, looking for the next threat, the next fight. The mayor is rallying the guards, organizing a counterattack. Her voice cuts through the chaos, clear, commanding. She's not a soldier, but she's become one. Become whatever her people need. Alexander fights alongside her, his rifle empty now, using it as a club. He takes down 2 raiders, gets hit by a third, goes down hard. Ed sees it, runs to help, swings his bat, the raider's head snaps back, he falls. Ed helps Alexander up. The young guard's face is covered in red, but he's alive. Still fighting. The battle spreads through Haven's Gate, house to house, building to building. The raiders are trying to take the armory, the storage buildings, the food, everything that makes survival possible. The guards and survivors fight back, harder than the raiders expected. This isn't a soft target. These are people who've lost everything once, who won't lose it again without bleeding for it. Merlyn finds the leader, recognizes him from the tire tracks at Sierra 7, from the bodies left behind. A man named Simmons, tall, scarred, carrying a rifle like he was born with it. He sees her, smiles. "You're the one from the base," he says. "Should have stayed gone." "Should have," Merlyn agrees. Too stupid to take advice. They circle each other. Simmons raises his rifle. Merlyn throws the knife. It's not a perfect throw, doesn't hit vital, but it hits his shoulder. He drops the rifle, swears, pulls the knife out, throws it aside. They fight hand to hand. Simmons is bigger, stronger, but Merlyn is faster, meaner, fueled by every loss, every death, every person she couldn't save. She gets inside his guard, hits his throat, his solar plexus, his knee, breaking him down piece by piece. He grabs her, slams her against a wall. Her vision blurs. He's pulling another knife, going for the end, going to finish what started at Sierra 7. A gunshot. Simmons jerks, falls. Behind him stands the mayor, holding a pistol, her hands steady, her face hard. "No one takes my town," she says. Simmons tries to speak, can't, just lies there, becoming part of the pattern that covers everything. The tide turns. The raiders see their leader down, see the resistance costing more than they expected. They break, run for the gate, for the tree line, for anywhere that isn't here. The guards chase some of them, stop others. The fight ends not with victory, but with exhaustion, with everyone too tired to continue, too spent to care about anything except breathing. Ed finds Merlyn. She's sitting against a building, holding her ribs. Her face shows the fight, but alive, still here. He sits beside her, neither speaks, just sits in the cold and the aftermath and the knowledge that they survived again. Somehow, against odds that keep getting worse. Later, after the adrenaline fades, after the count, Ed learns that Alexander didn't make it. The blow he took, internal damage. Dr. Patel tried, but there wasn't enough equipment, enough medicine, enough miracles left. Ed finds the body in the medical building, the young guard who smiled easy and fought hard and believed things could get better, who deserved decades more than he got, who saved Ed's life in the fight and paid for it with his own. Ed sits with him for a while, this kid who became a friend in the brief time they had, who talked about before, who carried hope like a weapon, who died proving that hope costs more than most can pay. The mayor does a count, 14 survivors lost, 6 guards, 8 civilians, people who came to Haven's Gate looking for safety and found it briefly before the world remembered they existed. Among them is Marcus, The teacher they saved from the frozen ravine, who survived hypothermia and a broken leg, who lived just long enough to die in a raider attack. 3 weeks of survival stolen by a stray round in the chaos. The raiders left 23 bodies, more than they took. But it's not about numbers, it's about what they destroyed, the sense of security, the belief that walls and rules and organization could hold back the chaos. But there's one more loss that cuts deeper. The betrayal. The person who let the raiders know about Haven's Gate, who told them about the walls, the supplies, the vulnerable points. His name was Frank Delaney. Guard. Been with Haven's Gate for 4 months. Trusted. Respected. But he had connections to raiders from before. Old debts. Old loyalties. He sent a signal. Drew them here. Thought he'd get a cut of what they took. The mayor's people found his body among the raider casualties, shot in the crossfire, killed by the very people he tried to help. A traitor's reward. His name gets no grave, no burial, just added to the fire with the other raiders, burned away with the memory of what he did. That night they burn the raider bodies outside the walls, send them to whatever comes after with fire and smoke and no words because there are no words worth saying. The survivor bodies they bury. In frozen ground that fights every shovel thrust. They dig anyway, because that's what humans do. Honor the gone. Mark their passing. Pretend it matters. Ed stands at Alexander's grave. Merlyn stands beside him, her ribs wrapped, her face showing the fight. She doesn't say anything. Doesn't try to make sense of something that has no sense. Just stands with him while the sun sets, while the smoke rises. While Haven's Gate licks its wounds and wonders if sanctuary is just another word for target. The gate is destroyed. Will take weeks to rebuild. Until then they're vulnerable. Open. Exposed to whatever comes next. But they're alive. Most of them. And alive means tomorrow. Means another chance. Means the world hasn't won yet. That has to be enough. Has to be. Because there's nothing else to hold. Enough miracles left in the world. Ed sits with the body for a while, this young guard who smiled easy and fought hard and deserved decades more than he got. Another name for the list of people who didn't make it. Another weight to carry forward. The mayor does a count. 14 survivors lost. 6 guards. 8 civilians. People who came to Haven's Gate looking for safety and found it briefly before the world remembered they existed. The raiders left 23 bodies. More than they took. But it's not about numbers, it's about what they destroyed. The sense of security. The belief that walls and rules and organization could hold back the chaos. That night they burn the raider bodies outside the walls, send them to whatever comes after with fire and smoke and no words, because there are no words worth saying. The survivor bodies they bury. In frozen ground that fights every shovel thrust. They dig anyway, because that's what humans do. Honor the gone, mark their passing, pretend it matters. Ed stands at Alexander's grave, the young guard who became a friend, who believed things could get better, who died proving that belief costs more than most can pay. Merlyn stands beside him, her ribs wrapped, her face showing the fight. She doesn't say anything, doesn't try to make sense of something that has no sense you do. If